Welcome to Modern Mystic Messages. I'm Teresa. Oh, we're not on Modern Mystic Messages. I am so sorry. We are on Anunnaki Oracle Priestess. But welcome anyway, and welcome to Saturday night's tarot session. I am Teresa. Even if I'm a little bit confused about where I am exactly, I do know who I am. And I'm going to wait just a moment for some folks to get in here on this live stream, and we'll get rocking and rolling. And we're coming up real close to the full moon energies now, so I will say happy full moon to you. And I'm going to start out by pulling some moon magic affirmation cards and kind of see what messages we get from the moon today. Uh-oh. Ooh, life is conspiring for me. That's a good one. Yes, indeed. I am magnetic to what I want. I repel what I do not want. Those are powerful messages for the full moon. This is a wonderful time for us to manifest. The full moon that's happening tomorrow is a blood moon in Pisces. Saturn is also in Pisces right now. And in addition, there will also be a full moon eclipse, a full eclipse. So that is prime manifesting time right there. Yes, indeed. I accept and create more flow and pleasure in my life. So if you hadn't been into manifesting with the moon, you might want to look into it and set your intentions out there tomorrow, because I'm trying to tell you, it's a good time for it. Absolutely a good time for it. Now let's get over here. Just trying to see what else is over here. Ooh, unexpected can be wonderful. I got myself second guessing myself now since, oh, there they go. I was wondering, I thought I had messed around and done it again. Hello, Bakugo. How are you? Welcome in, welcome in. Trying to get some of the energies here. I do like to ask. Ooh, Rumi is here with mystical knowing. So thank you. I appreciate you. Welcome in. Let's see. There's breaking boundaries are here. Personal experience of God upcoming for someone. So I mentioned that we are coming up on full moon energies and a full moon eclipse at the same time. So for some of us, there may be some mystical experiences unloading. Oh, and Yeshua is here with acts of service, Jesus. So yeah, when you serve, the universe serves you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Hey, Powder Ganger, how are you? Welcome. Oh, from rural Arizona. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome in here. Let's see. We're going to pull a general message here until we get a specific question from someone and see where we're going with it. Let's see. Spirit, what will we have here? Archangel Michael, please be with me. Place a wall of protection around me and the viewer. And all beings of divine light are welcome here. Any beings that are not of divine light here for our greatest good of all, I ask that they leave at this time. Please and thank you. Ashe. Ooh. Now I saw these come out earlier, but again, I'm not that worried about them. We have All That Glitters and Orphaned came out here, but we also have Higher Power and Deep Knowing. Now on this other side of the ones that what came out here earlier with Life is Conspiring for Me, and then the Rumi card with this mystical knowing and Jesus acts of service, this orphaned situation is not as scary as people think, very often the chosen ones are spiritually, if not sometimes even physically orphaned, shunned from their families and all of that as the black sheep, different ones, because they're being set aside for service, spiritual service later. You It's a lonely path. When you choose to follow spirit and allow the awakening and ascension, it can be a lonely path for you. But this deep knowing is with this mystical knowing here and higher power is certainly worthwhile. You said, do you have Isaac? I have no idea whether you have Isaac Bakugo. Who is Isaac and why did, I mean, do you have him? I haven't, yeah. Hey, Brittany, what's up? And hey, Golly RF, how are you? Do you want to have Isaac Bakugo? But truthfully, that question in and of itself, the general does somebody care for me? That's not really a question for a tarot reader, if I'm perfectly honest. Now I know people want to look into questions about specific aspects of their relationships, but if you have to ask if a person even cares for you at all, if they wanted to, they'd let you know. Trust me, and especially you're saying Isaac, if a man genuinely wants you, he'll let you know. Ooh, but you know what? Let's get back to this mystical knowing and these acts of service with the higher power and deep knowing. Wisdom is here. You've been here before and you know what to do, yet you fear disappointing others. The wise choice may not be the popular choice, but choose for the highest good in this situation. And that's exactly what I was talking about this orphaned and all that glitters scenario. All that glitters is not gold. And very often, if you're on a spiritual path, you have to walk away from the stuff that the world thinks is the shiny, pretty stuff and step into your own knowingness, because spirit is very often going to lead you to do something that may be dramatically different than what the world thinks you're supposed to do. Your friends and family and all of that may be pushing you to the safe thing by worldly standards, the corporate job, the right place, the this and that, all of those things. And spirit may be pushing you in a completely different direction. It also says here, take a chance. It's time to step outside your comfort zone. The world is waiting for you to take a chance. When you do, you'll be rewarded with newfound confidence and enthusiasm that will begin to attract new results. Yeah, that part. Hold on a second. I want to get some music rolling here, but they be tripping. Okay. Since it's headed out in that sort of a spiritual direction, I do want to take a bit to look at this over here. Bakugo, if you wanted to elaborate on your question, I'd be happy to take a look. Or if Golly RF, if you have a question, I'd be happy to take a look as well. But just do have Isaac. I don't understand what that means. You're gonna have to elaborate a little bit more than that. Ooh, born witch, a natural witch is both your spiritual path and job. And again, not talking about the witch in the sense that the tradition that the world looks at it, but just that spiritual path, using your intuitive gifts and abilities is some kind is where your career success is going to be leading you, where spirit is going to be leading you. Envy is here. A life with not many to no friends. Use discernment. Encountering envy in life. Yeah, this orphan scenario, again, sometimes we are kind of put off to the side or wind up in a situation where we're basically alone because people do envy you. There are a lot of folks out there, especially if you have those natural spiritual abilities, There are people out there that can see it before you know and understand it. And they'll be hating on you and you can't even figure out why. Because they know they can see that energy, that Christ light, if you want to call it that, the being chosen, they see it on you before you still mired down and trying to figure things out and being extracted from the matrix and got toxic situations all that around you. You may not even see it yet. They do. Your energy stands out. You're being called to mastery here, mastering what you're being called to, conquering your life mission, discovering your true self. And to that end, you're seeking answers, exploring metaphysical and esoteric fields in search of answers and truth. It is the beginning of your spiritual search. Let's pull some. Let's pull some tarot, shall we? Well, I think I'm gonna do this regular spread here. I mean the one that I like to do. Can the cards answer a health question? Sometimes. What you got? We're going to see. Ask away. I will still tell you if you got having actual symptoms, of course, whatever physicians or medical practitioners you may have, definitely double check with them, but I'll be more than happy to look into it. What's causing your anxiety? You've had it since you were a young teen. Yeah, we can look and see. Relief is at the bottom of the deck, though, so maybe that'll be coming. Um, let's see. I want to try this deck. There's a deck back here that I hardly ever use, but it's an active. Let me see. That might. Was this the one? This is one of the ones. What we're going to see. There it is. I also want to pull this, see if we get some answers out of there. Hey, Julie, how are you? Panic attacks and anxiety, yeah. Um, I didn't have severe, I didn't have to be medicated for them, but I have some experience with anxiety and panic attacks. For me, in my instance, truthfully, I believe it was an offshoot of unhealed, unrecognized traumas, depression. And some of my depression was clinical. There was some serotonin imbalances and stuff going on there as well. But I think it's a coping mechanism. Yeah, probably some trauma that you may, and unfortunately, trauma kind of unearths itself. You continue to do the shadow work and the this and that, but it unearths itself when it's ready to. I had a layer of trauma that I had kind of buried and forgot about it a little bit. Um, let your past go. Ask, and energy work is here, so it will come out. Let me see. Ask us to help you in this situation, and we will immediately go to work on your behalf. We are governed by many universal laws, and among them is the free will that allows you to make your own choices and decisions. So we patiently await your request. Let your past go. The burden of carrying your past around has made you weary, dear one. It's time to set this burden down. Keep only the lessons and the love, and leave everything else behind. You don't want it or need it, and it's now gone. And you know what? They say that every physical ailment in the body has a metaphysical cause. So, now, truthfully, with things like anxiety and depression, they can also have a chemical cause. But again, like we talked about earlier, we have such toxic load in our systems. It's a wonder all of us aren't somewhere curled up in a fetal position, like for real. So, and I think some avatars are more sensitive to things than others. So it may even be a combination of the physical and trauma and stuff. And you were asking what trauma is the question. That truly, that's, I wish I could tell you, because again, I initially, you don't necessarily always recognize traumas as traumas because the thing that made you bury them in the first place was because that was the only way you could survive. It wasn't being addressed, and the people around you wasn't going to acknowledge it. Suck it up, put your big girl panties on. People got it worse than you. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Kind of thing. um but yeah, as you continue to do the inner child work and the shadow work, pay attention to those random older thoughts to start unpacking themselves, because honestly, that's kind of the way it happened for me. Things that I hadn't thought about in years started coming out. For example, and I can mention it now because the parties involved are, or in, the party involved is deceased. I hadn't even thought about it years ago. When I moved to Sarasota, I was aware that I wasn't far from where my nephew lived, and people kept saying, "You should look him up. You should look him up." And I never did manage to do that. And then later on, I found out on Facebook that he had gotten in trouble for, um, I guess, law enforcement. Somebody had called law enforcement, and he got in trouble and was arrested and stuff because I guess he had fallen into poverty or whatever. He had hunting dogs and all out on his property, and the dogs, he got a like an animal abuse charge because the dogs were in really bad shape. The way the kennels were being kept up, and they were skin and bones and all of that. So I just saw like his mugshot and the article, but even at that, I couldn't bring myself to look him up, go see him in jail, or any of the rest of that. And it wasn't until about 2 years ago that, I'm trying to think, I don't even remember how it came about. I think I did finally, something hit me in meditation to try to look again, and I couldn't find him, but I found an obituary for someone, and he has an unusual name. He's got my last name and an unusual first name. And I found an obituary in Alabama, and the age was right and all the rest of that, so I knew he had passed. And then when I went further in meditation and got to thinking about it, and then I realized the reason why I never looked him up or wanted to be bothered, because that little MFer sexually molested me when I was a kid. He was younger than me, but obviously he came from a much faster environment. He would come to visit my mother. He was my brother's child, and my brother had a son and a daughter, and he died when I was 5. But his mother had remarried and had all kind of crazy stuff going on, and I don't know what their home environment was like, but every summer they would come and stay with us, and him and his sister were a couple years younger than me, but whatever they had been exposed to, oh, they was hunching and touching and all the rest of that stuff. And they introduced me to some stuff that I didn't want to be introduced to. And I had not even thought about that no more until it unpacked itself decades later, you know? And I'm like, well, damn, no wonder I didn't want to go look him up. I had nothing to do with him. Yes, I mean, it's all good. I can honestly say I wasn't R worded because he was too young at the time. He attempted, but it didn't go that route because he wasn't able to. But it was still, like I said, the guilt, especially considering the religious background I had, I carried that guilt for a long time until finally, I think when I closed off that wall of trauma, when I got abandoned, like literally shunned by my family and was tossed out in the world suddenly with no recourse, no support system, no nothing, I literally like put a steel wall up behind almost all of my life prior to that point. And it took me a quarter of a century to be able to slow down enough in life and go back and sit in meditation till some of that stuff started unpacking itself and I could address it. Hey Valerie, what's up? What's up? All right, let's see what might be causing some anxiety here. We got clearing here. As true offering arises, it becomes easy to let go. You start to trust that more will always arrive. You shift from mine to God's, such freedom. And then we have freedom here. I no longer want this fiery ring of resentment to block the good. Release me from its bonds. Receiving is here. Every day it becomes easier to receive the highest divine plan and to trust my inner guidance with expansiveness. Eternity is far more creative than the rigid, constrained, and exhausted ego. So yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It may not be SA. It doesn't have to be. Like I said, my initial traumas, I think the only reason that little piddling, because again, it wasn't all the way SA. It was just a lot of guilt and anxiety that came from the things that I was, yeah, being kind of um, groomed for because of the religious background. Most of my trauma, though, was hands down. Like I said, it was childhood trauma from growing up in the household with a raging narcissist, and her supply was my daddy who bucked against it, and they was yelling and screaming and hooping and hollering. I literally woke up to the sound of screaming and yelling in my house every single day of my life from the age of 3. I mean, probably was earlier than that, but I remember from the age of 3. Hey, Sai Cece, welcome in, welcome in. So honestly, it looks like here with this clearing, freedom, receiving, and expansiveness, it probably is something to do with childhood. Maybe it's something to do with deservingness. Was there lack in childhood? Lack of affection, lack of money, lack of friends, associations, lack of attention from your parents, anything like that? Your parents fought all the time. There you go. Girl, do you we I mean, I'm gonna pull the rest of these cards because I got the deck over here, but that's for sure where it come from. That it's abandonment wounds, it's a lack of security, it's basically it's a survival response that anytime anything in your world gets overturned, it takes you back to childhood and you don't feel safe. You just really don't feel safe. Like I say, we could both write the book on that. And again, my parents didn't physically fight, but they were hooping and screaming and arguing all the time, saying the most god awful, hateful things. And then to make it even worse, the hypocrisy of it all is they hooped and yelled and screamed and cussed each other out, and then 2 3 times a week we got to get dressed up, go put on a pretty face, and go down, sit down there at the Kingdom Hall and basically lie to the world about what a happy family we are. Everybody in our hometown thought that my parents were the cat's pajamas, and I had the greatest life, and we lived in one of the nicest streets in the neighborhood, and had one of the nicest houses and the cars, and we went on vacation and all that other stuff, but they were hateful to each other, and I did not feel secure and safe in that house at all. And then there was the religious fear, and I'm a weird kid, sense and spirit all around me, but they done taught me to be scared. They done literally taught me that spiritual sensing that I had was demonic presence, and I'm sleeping with a Bible under my bed under my pillow from the age of like 4 or 5 till I can't remember how long. That's some stressful stuff. That's where that is the birthplace of anxiety. That kind of stuff. So your mom was a mean junkie, yeah. And that's the thing. I've forgiven both of my parents, but I was really bitterly angry with my father when I was younger. And a lot of that was mama's conditioning because truthfully, is she would put, like I said, they would literally, as a truth teller, being a truth teller in a household like that is not easy anyway. But because I was a truth teller, when I got a little older and she would try to put me in the middle of a mess and I would just tell her like it is and she didn't like my answers, it created a lot of stress in the household. Now he was lashing out too, but guess what? A hit dog will holler, like the country, like the folks say, a hit dog will holler. Now she wasn't physically hitting him, but she played him like a violin, like a Stradivarius, you know? And when I got to know about his family upbringing and stuff like that, he didn't have the love of a mother in his life. His mama was a party girl. Her husband left her with three boys, and that's saying a lot back during those times, but he just couldn't deal with it no more. And she poisoned her children's mind against their father. I never got to meet my grandfather because my grandmother had convinced those boys to hate him. They wound up dropping out of school to basically take care of themselves. They raised themselves. My father sounded like he was college educated, but he had an eighth grade education because he had to drop out to fend for himself, then wound up going in the army. That won't jack your head up. You know what I'm saying? So I forgave him later once I got a little older and was able to understand what he was up against. But yeah, it wasn't comfortable there at all. And that is a perfect breeding ground for being super shy, unconfident, like I said, complete lack of self esteem, lack of confidence, um, anxiety out the yin yang, all of those sorts of things. But let's see here. Ooh, that was fear here. I realize I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Let me see what else we got. Exactly. And I also have to remember they were older, like way older. My mother was born in 1928. My daddy was born in 1930. They wasn't never even intended to awaken, you know? So there's that too. And my mother was kind of sort of a seeker though. She explored Judaism and Islam and spiritualism and this, that, and the third, some of everything. And that's how she landed with the Jehovah Witnesses. And I know she didn't fully understand what was going on there because a lot of that stuff didn't come out till decades later, what they were about. If she had known how racist them people were, she would have never gotten involved with them, I don't believe. Because she was born in Detroit. My daddy was from Alabama. But my mama was from Detroit. She wouldn't have not. She didn't have no time for that foolishness. And to be perfectly honest, Jehovah's Witnesses do hide the racism very well now. You have to look at some of the older publications to understand the racism that was embedded in that religion. It's not an awful lot coming out. Ooh, self-esteem is at this bottom of this deck, though. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Love is here. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things and courage. Self esteem, love, and courage. That's what the empath, the tools that you need. Oh, failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. But when you grow up as a child in a household like that, even the tiniest step away from perfection, you become almost paranoid about failure or missing the mark, not being perfect. Because a child in those kinds of traumatic situations, they start to blame themselves for whatever's going on in the household. It will mama and daddy are mad at each other. Mom, like in your case, mommy is mean and she's mad and all the rest of that. I didn't do good enough in school. Maybe I should have did this. I should have been a little prettier. I should have walked a little faster. I should have washed the dishes faster. I didn't mean to drop the glass and break it. Every little mistake that a child makes in a house of trauma, they rake that into themselves. And that fear of failure winds up making them literally feeling like they're either walking on eggshells or trying to balance on a knife blade. And then as an adult, anxiety. Yeah, that part. That part. Let's see. We're going to get some. Ooh, what was that that fell? Hold on. I got to see. A couple of cards fell off the bottom of this deck and hit the floor. I'm trying to see what they are. Because usually those be healing. I knew it was going to be something important. The way they fell off and hit the floor. That was healing because synergy and romantic love is here. I don't know who that's for. We'll see if it want to come out later. But the first one that I picked up here was healing. The frequency of healing supports our intrinsic ability to restore our health and wholeness by consciously using the information that comes to us through our senses and harmonizing everything accordingly. You said you would have never thought fear of failure? Yeah. Why do you think we're our own worst critic? Because we done heard it enough in childhood. Somewhere down the line, those seeds get planted, and they can get planted in the most innocent of ways. Because the way humans, especially if you are raised in a traumatic environment like that, 20 people can tell you you are the bee's knees, you the greatest thing since sliced bread, and one person whose opinion you value. It don't even have to be somebody's opinion you value for real. 20 people can tell you you're amazing, and one person come along and put a seed of doubt in your head, and that's the voice that's going to ricochet in your head the loudest. It'll completely cancel out the other 20 that said you was amazing. And when you're a child of trauma, that's even more so, because you're sitting there trying to analyze why are these people always so angry, and what is it that you could do, or what didn't you do, either your fault or what can you do to make it better. And when you can't make it better, especially empathic children tend to rake the blame or responsibility. We want to fix everything. We are the fixers. We're the truth tellers and the fixers. And when you can't fix it, you start wearing blame for it. So it becomes, like I said, a serious fear of failure. Gotta be perfect. I used to get I used to take piano lessons. My mother decided that we all needed to do something, so I had to take piano lessons. And I ain't gonna say had to. I enjoyed it for what it was for a time. I just finally reached a point where my instructor wanted me to go to conservatory and like study professionally, and I knew I didn't feel like I could cope with the anxiety of performance, because I took piano for like 9 8 9 years. I would practice for hours and hours, and I always did well, but I had such a fear of making a mistake. I had such severe performance anxiety that no matter how well I did in my recitals, I would be physically ill afterwards from the letdown reflex after all of that anxiety was over with. I never got over that. It wasn't literally until I started taking public speaking on the college level. I had to take it for whatever the degree requirements were, that I kind of sort of started getting over being in front of people. But yeah, and I couldn't understand. Like I said, if I know I'm practicing well and I know I'm performing well, why do I have such a low self-esteem or such a lack of confidence that I'm physically ill even after I've performed well? Trauma. And you don't recognize it. I was talking to my roommate the other day. I had a scenario happen to me when I was taking psychology. I did dual enrollment in high school, my last 2 years of school. And I was taking Psych 101 or whatever, and I forgot what the name of the test is, but it's some kind of a stress evaluation test. And mind you, the instructor that I had, she had survived, it was either Auschwitz or Dachau. She was a little girl rescued from one of the concentration camps. So her stories were fascinating, but she administered this stress evaluation test, and I think I was like 17 at the time that I took it. She held me back after class and asked me, she was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" However, the stress markers were in that test that they did at the age of 17, I had scored so high on that stressor test from life events or whatever, that she was worried that I was suicidal. Yeah, she was really concerned that I might be considering unaliving myself because of the stress level that I was carrying. And like I said, my life hadn't even started getting stressful yet. considering. But I mean, I answered the questions they asked about different life events, and then I guess they assigned a weight or some kind of I don't even know how they graded the test. But again, like I said, yeah, my stress level was out the yin yang by the age of 17, and the real bad stuff hadn't even started happening yet. We got conception here, heart chakra, authority, divine feminine magic, and synergy came out. Ooh, remembrance. Yeah, I honestly think if it's manageable or being managed with medications and stuff, just forgive yourself for it and understand it's one of your battle scars, and hopefully it'll kind of sort of go away. Because for real, let me see, you took one of them too. You got bullied too for your mom being broke, overweight, probably had an impact. Oh yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. I ain't even think about that. I ain't even think about that. Like I said, I'm having therapy. I'm thinking about my own situation. My mother in her heyday, now she had gained weight and stuff by the time I came along, and I always felt guilty about that too. She had me at the age of 40, developed gestational diabetes, carrying me, and it did not go away. She became full blown diabetic when I was born. So she went from being 5'4", 110 pounds with her little Coke bottle shape and her tiny little waist to at one point in time, I think she had blown up to, she was 5'4", and I think she had gotten as heavy as about 270 at one point. And she did Weight Watchers and all the rest and lost some weight and all blah, blah, blah. But now I came along. My dad was 6'3" and probably weighed about 275, 300 until as he got older, he got even heavier. My grandmother on my dad's side was 6 foot tall, big raw bone woman. And when I came along and she saw that I was a big raw bone girl, and I started gaining weight, and I was tall. I was always the tallest one in my class and the biggest one in my class. My mother was determined that she wanted me to be little and started putting me on diets from the age of about 10. Psychologically, that plays its role. And then my daddy was a feeder, so she was busy trying to put me on diets, and he'd bring home chocolate cake and cookies. He didn't care. He just loved his little girl and da 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 da. But being stuck in the middle of all of that and the temptation, like the real unhealthy food, relationships, and then on top of that, I'm supposed to be little, but they both worked outside of the home, starting their own businesses. And my grandmother was there by the age of 10 or 11 because I was advanced as a kid and I was tall as a kid and all the rest of that. By the time my 11th grade summer came along, I was cooking all the meals for the family on summer vacations and taking care of my 90-something-year-old grandmama, having to do the laundry, change her bed sheets when she became incontinent, and all the rest of that stuff. That's a lot to pile on a kid. All of the house work, including cleaning their room, taking care of my elderly grandmother, cooking all the meals, all the rest of that stuff, and then still having to do the Jehovah Witness thing, and then still turning around and supposed to be a respectful straight A student in school, and still not be overweight, even though I've had to built just like my daddy and eating all this. It was, like I said, there's a lot of stuff. When you really get to the point that doorway opens and you can start looking back on that stuff, you're going to start seeing more and more and more of the reasons why you dealing with the stuff on this end that you didn't even understand the reason for it then. Yep. Same thing with your dad. Yeah. Oh wow, yeah. Mama did. She wasn't high and nodded out. She was too busy raging on her little narcissistic whatever. And I can honestly say that now that part we didn't have like the. That's the only reason I mentioned it, because I knew it would. It'll help you go back. You be to relate to whatever it was in your particular situation. Yeah. Now we weren't. I wasn't bullied for being broke, but my mama was so old school till I sometimes got bullied for like the way I dressed. I certainly got bullied for being a Jehovah's Witness because I couldn't say the pledge. I couldn't participate in this. Somebody had a birthday party. I couldn't participate in it. Didn't ever do no holidays. Half the school play. They just made a big stink about a lot of that kind of stuff. So, and I never ever got an opportunity to like go to other kids' houses and participate in anything. My niece and nephew lived next door, and that was about as far as I could go. You see, your mom blames you for, yeah. And my mama never said out of her mouth that she was blaming me for her diabetes, but as I got older, I kind of felt bad because it was like I say, it was gestational diabetes, but it never went away. And then she continued, and she was a nurse, but she didn't eat like she was supposed to, didn't manage her diabetes. She believed that it had to be a lifelong thing, and she just rocked with it and started eating what she wanted to eat until she became insulin dependent. And then she did lose some weight, but by then she was completely insulin dependent. She spent the last 11 years of her life on dialysis, which is a long time for somebody to survive on dialysis. Ooh, now this ain't got no reason for the why you had this, but I do see here magic, divine feminine, and transition. So what I was thinking earlier was money don't cure things and money can't necessarily buy love. But I do understand that now that we have a clearer vision of what spirit is showing us to do, there will come a point in time where once the windfall is in your hand, that's going to relieve so much anxiety that I think the rest of that stuff will kind of go by the wayside, or you'll be able to see it and address it from a different standpoint. When everything is out of control, it just mounts up and mounts up and mounts up and mounts up. But if one thing gets really firmly under control, it's easier to start getting the other stuff under control. And I really think that, I know for me, part of my anxiety is like I said, the understanding of the physical situation, having done a lot of work around the attitude around money, feeling like I've healed the attitude or the energy vibration around money, understanding the overgiving, the oversharing, the codependency issues, done the energy work around a lot of that stuff. So I feel like I've learned those lessons and feel like I should have graduated from them, but I'm not seeing the financial payday yet. That's a source of anxiety as well. Once the windfall comes through to let me know I got that lesson right, it doesn't solve all that other stuff, but it would allow me to pull one level of anxiety out so that I can better address some of that stuff and kind of button it up and put it to bed. I'm close. Like I said, I've looked enough through the past that I recognize that that is where a lot of my, well, I was neurodivergent anyway, but where a lot of the coping mechanisms and masking things, and that a lot of those behaviors are masking tools for a whole lot of trauma. Oh, shit, hers didn't go away either. Yeah, that part. That's crazy. And my dad, at the end of the day, when I had stopped being angry, we work pretty cool for the most part. I resented the hooping and the yelling, and I didn't understand. So our relationship was rockier than it needed to be. If I had just not been trying to be a mama's daughter, and truthfully, that was my coping mechanism because she was so hateful and nasty. I wanted to stay on her good side, so I had to do what I needed to do to stay on her good side, which actually put me in a position where Paul him, he's sitting in here with these two females camped up against him, and yeah. So later on, we made peace. Truthfully, through the veil, I made peace with my father because our relationship really wasn't all that bad. We had like one or two blowout arguments, but most of it wasn't. Like I said, he was was pretty cool with me, and then that led to my mom being even more hateful to me. Like for example, he had a work truck and a Lincoln. She drove Cadillacs, he drove Lincolns. When he got his car, basically I drove his car more than he did. I'd be down in Cocoa visiting my sister all every day, all the and she resented that. Yeah, exactly. But I was partially a daddy's girl, but ain't nobody really get to yell at mama. They too busy yelling at each other. I didn't get to make peace with my mother either, or my father on the other side. Like I said, I got to make peace with them on the through the veil after they transitioned. Yeah. I didn't talk to my mother for the last 6 years of her life, and basically because her by then her diabetes was so out of control, she started accusing me of things that I did not do and all kinds of stuff. And then she wound up living with my sister. She took her down there, and yeah, I went to her funeral, but I didn't get a chance to talk to her for the last 6 years of my life. But let's see if we're gonna get some angel therapy for you here though, because this, like I said, this stuff looks pretty good. But we're gonna see on the other side what maybe some of what's coming. And then if somebody else has a question, if they'll pop it on um in the chat window, we will pull cards for someone else. Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the other day, I think it was, wasn't it yesterday? You had to leave, and I asked like 3 or 4 times, and you didn't come make it back in. I'm not sure. I don't think Niana did either. Archangel Michael is here, though. You're working very closely with this powerful archangel who's protecting and guiding you through the situation. And oh, a past life issue. The situation has a basis in one of your previous lifetimes. Ask your angels to help you remember, release, learn, and heal from your past experiences. So, part of it may be the stuff with your mom, but it could also be some past life stuff. And I figured that. I just was hoping, I was like, please don't let her come on and think that I just bailed. But I tried, I stuck around and asked a few times and asked a few times. And then when you didn't respond, I was like, like I said, I was hoping you would come tonight. So you are definitely up next. But yeah, let me see. This, like I said, this may also have some past life stuff, but I really think it got more to do because you and I are so very similar in our life story and our walk, Brittany. Except I had all the jacked up. Ooh, Raphael is here for you too. Yep. And cut your cords, which I know you're doing. Third eye chakra is here, and vacuum away fear. Call upon archangels Michael and Raphael to lift fear-based energy away from you, your surroundings, this situation, and everyone involved. Ooh, goddess is here too. Express your divine feminine energy, embracing its magical intuition, nurturing qualities. Visualize success, see yourself doing well in this situation, and have faith in a positive outcome. And then we have back to asking your angels for help with this and clearing yourself. So yeah, just keep doing keep doing what you're doing, and you good. You're welcome, my love. All right, Miss CC, do you have a specific question? Uh-oh. I hope I don't freeze. I'm hoping that this is an issue with my internet and not YouTube because this video just is on loading now. Oh Lord. I'm good. Okay, so whatever, basically whatever we pull, let me see. It's probably the internet provider. Yeah, that part. Ooh, ashy. Okay. Uh-uh. Okay, cool. Long as y'all can see me, it'd be nice to have music, but we'll be all right. It'll come back when it feel like it. It's probably an internet provider issue then. They do this sometimes in the evening. Uh-oh. Hold on, I'm trying to put these back. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. You really don't know how or what to ask for this one because it's all kind of mixed together. Well, what would you like to look at first? Can you do that? Or just do the best you can and we'll see what comes out. I just try to. You a hot mess. Girl, we all a hot mess. Just do the best you can. And remember, these chat notes do not save to the upload. So, and ain't that many people right now. The traffic is low to this channel. It's not going to be that many people that's going to turn around and watch this in the replay because the replays are kind of long. So, yeah, you good. Ask it in questions and we'll see, I mean, in sections, and we'll see where we can go with it. Or I'll see if we can pull some hot mess cards, see what we come up with. Let's see what we got for CC. That's why I say she in good company, child. I'm a hot mess too sometimes, and if I seem like less of a hot mess, that's literally after spirit broke me down like a fraction, tore my life apart in a tower moment, and I done did about 5, 6, 7 years in hermit mode. So I might be slightly less of a hot mess now, but trust me, I have my hot mess season. So yeah, don't feel like the Lone Ranger. Trust me. We're gonna see if we can get a word here. Ooh. Get a word from your balance. Difference is a necessary part of human evolution, and everything in life is comprised of opposites, which together make life whole. If you light a candle in a room already flooded with light, the light of your candle will be indistinguishable from the light which already exists. Because of darkness, we are able to perceive light. Both are necessary. So the hot mess season is just so that you can understand that you shine, and once you come through that and start shining. The prayer here, dear guardian angel, help me to believe that all is possible through love. Help me manifest my dreams and live an inspiring and fulfilling life. Help me to feel God's presence in every moment. Help me feel eternally loved. Thank you for being always by my side. Yeah. So spirit got you. Let's see what else we got over here. Chakras, tune into your higher dimensions and raise your vibration. Drastic changes. You may be going through a dark night of the soul. If you're feeling kind of hot mess, these two are very important cards. Because truthfully, it's that chakra work that's going to help you find some balance. And I don't know what else to tell you. Dark nights of the soul just feel icky when it's happening. That's all. Since you was born as your mother's miracle daughter, you haven't known what to think or who to seek. And why do you think that is? Do you think it's having to feel you feeling like you gotta wear that shoes of the miracle child label that they put on you? Is it something to do with that? Because that's a mighty big that's a big label to have to wear. Oh, you got a dragon that popped out for you though. Bless everyone and everything. The people that need blessing the most are the ones that push your buttons. Information wise. Do you mind me asking how old you are, CC? Said loose lip sync shit. Be careful what you say just about someone. Is it the truth? I don't think that applies necessarily. You're 58. Oh, you 58. What is that? 58 going on 13? What does that mean? Honestly, I feel you because I feel kind of timeless and sometimes not in a good way either. And the reason I was asking your age is because you may genuinely be like Brittany and I was talking about being caught in the wall of your trauma. And we did get in that whole who do we think we are, being made to feel like we're basically nothing and all of that. And when I got out and started having children, I realized basically I was raising my children, but I was trying to raise myself at the same time. Being raised by some of the real old school boomers was not fun. Um, I don't either. You ain't supposed to. Don't you dare. Do not dare try to act your age because them old ass fuddy duddies don't have a clue. You're not being called for that. You probably don't look 58 either. You don't necessarily feel 58. You don't think, move, walk, or talk 58 because you're not supposed to. You're one of the chosen. You ain't supposed to fit that. And we're at that age where we're supposed to be sitting down somewhere looking like we about ready for the nursing home with a caftan wrapped around us and knitting somewhere. No, we're not. We're not supposed to be doing that. Some of them are. I'm not saying it's wrong for those who have that calling, but all the chosen, they don't. Star seeds typically look much younger than they actually are, and they feel much younger. They just move different. We do. So that's why you don't know how to feel because you've been so busy trying to be regular and your little magical ass is not regular. Okay? Okay. Long as you know. The rise of the divine feminine. It is time to tune into your feminine side and think with your heart. You got B the dog here. Are you feeling a bit unpopular with friends or family? You've been the underdog your whole life. You can't help it. And don't be bad. Like I told Brittany the other day, look, if somebody call you a bitch in life, say thank you because you one of the temple bitches of Isis. The original bitches. Those were in service to Isis. They were guardian goddesses. Yeah, you ain't regular. No guts, no glory. Be brave. Go and do what you want to do. Ah, that's what it say. Do what you want to do, damn it. Yeah, exactly. Be childlike as long as you can. My daughter got a shirt that says something about don't grow up, it's a trap or something. And I tried to tell them when they was younger, like grown ain't nothing but a whole bunch of extra bills. That's all it is. Be neurodivergent, be any of that. Embrace all of your weird. Really do. Yeah, because you ain't supposed to be regular. You ain't regular. Let me see what's over here. Freedom, Uranus, leap of faith, breaking free, new cycle, fast change, new direction. And I told you we got some stuff upcoming. Look, we ain't got to see it. We feel it. We feel it. And I know you feel it because you keep coming back too. You. We're sitting at the table. We all are. You feel it. You start singing the Toys R Us song when they tell you to grow up. I know that's right. Abundance, windfall is here. Gifts, celebration, promotion, opportunity, successful venture. I'm trying to tell. This is the Akashic deck with all of the trauma, drama, pain, and nonsense. And what came out of here first? Freedom and windfall, abundance. Let me see what else. I'm really trying my luck with this. Offer romance, love, beauty, creative arts, wealth, harmony, attraction, and offer. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure enough. Oh, you are vulnerable. You in a holding. It says holding patterns, security at all costs, blocked heart chakra, which I get that. We are hurt, and I probably got still. I got work to do on my heart chakra too. Some real stuff popped off. It did, but we're in the process of letting go. Our intuition is kicking in. Mars coming in hot. Let me get over here and see if there's anything in particular Spirit wants you to pay closer attention to. Yeah, you feel it too. Told girl, but you in good company. You in hot mess with the queens of the hot messes up in here. Me, Brittany, Niana, Robin. See, you in good company. You ain't here for no reason, my love. You ain't. You know what it made me think about? Remember that movie First Wives Club with Bette Midler and oh goodness, I can't think of their names now. I can see their faces, but I'm sure you've seen it. But I was thinking about them. Yeah, that kind of energy, somewhere between the Golden Girls and the First Wives Club. You said the stuff that comes up when it's being released, allow it to be here and it'll pass. Yep. We have to observe it, forgive ourselves for it, come to understand why we are in the midst of that. Because a lot of that stuff, it wasn't even our drama. It's our trauma to bear because we was caught in the middle of it. But again, remember, we were plunked down in the middle of that to be refined. You can't teach what you don't know and what you haven't lived, basically. And we do need to be compassionate because here's the thing. Wait a minute, reassess came out. What is going, okay, you see windfall. I see it here for you. Brittany is seeing windfall. I'm seeing windfall. I think it came out in Amanda's cards too. I believe it came out in Valerie's cards. I can't remember if it came out in Valerie's cards or not. Robin's card. It's coming out a lot. That theme of windfall. Now, let's just hypothetically think about what, I don't know how to say this without offending anyone, so I'm gonna just say it the best way I can. Think about the potential, bitch, you have the potential to be, okay? If life had not taught you humility and life had not broken you down to a fraction and bright life hadn't really got you in that spot, think about the potential for who you could have been if you had not learned those lessons, and think about how dangerous that person would be if a windfall of abundance was to come into their experience. You'd be a danger to yourself and everybody else because you wouldn't do the spiritual thing with it. You'd have been somewhere off on some of that nice, nasty, mean girl crap we see all over television, hanging off the side of a yacht somewhere over at Epstein Island, partying with Diddy and the Kardashians and all that other nonsense that them people do. But that's not what we're called for. We're supposed to have that level of money, but we're supposed to know what to do with it. So we were set out on a very painful trajectory in life so that we could learn enough empathy to truly be our brother's keeper when that windfall comes. Well, I used to say hanging off the yacht before they locked Diddy behind up, but that's what I'm saying. Once upon a time, if I didn't have a spiritual bent, that would have been the life that I'd have been reaching for. And it would have been, you'd have wind up getting sucked into that same kind of nastiness that Diddy and all the rest of them is into because they wasn't born like that. They got sucked into a lifestyle because they reached for something without the spiritual chops to know how to handle it. And the devil sucked them in. The money in itself isn't evil. but they wanted it at all costs, and they aligned themselves with something that was kind of ugly and evil. And like my grandma used to say, but for the grace of God, there go I. So sometimes the walk that we have is to prepare us for something different. It literally kind of remolds us. Even, yeah, it's painful. It's like walking 100 miles down the road with a rock in your shoe, and the shoe is 2 sizes too small. See, but are you one now? It taught you something. You survived it, and you got out. But think about what would have happened to you if you had to come into money when you was on the inside. Number one, they'd have unalived you for it and took it. You'd have been out there casting your pearls before swine, giving it to the wrong people, all the rest of that stuff. It's a lot of different ugly ways that could have went down, and ain't none of them good for you on the tail end of it. You needed empathy. And first off, who knows, at the end of the day, maybe your ministry is to people that have walked that walk and have somehow made it out or being called to make it out. Maybe what you're being called to do is to go back in and use your former street cred to talk to some of those folks in the inner city and help get them kids out of them situations so they don't have to get caught up in that part, because you can't teach what you don't know. And spirit uses everybody and everything. The church judges one thing is better than the other, or either or. No, folks up in the church don't need nobody to come to minister to them. Not, I mean, well, they really do, because they sick too. But what I'm saying, if you look at it from a religious standpoint, sometimes the greatest ministry is a boots on the ground, down in the trenches, show enough ministry. You don't even, it's not gonna always look pretty. Do you think we're gonna be looking all that pretty when we down there in the slums in India somewhere, or down up in the mountain trails over in Jamaica somewhere, when we trying to help folks get some food service stuffs together over in Haiti somewhere? We ain't gonna be hanging off of nobody yacht. That's in the trenches. And maybe part of your ministry, when your abundance comes through, is working with folks in the environment that you came from. But you needed to be able to understand it, walk away from it, but still be in tune with it enough to know what they need and how to approach them, and to be able to go back amongst them and reach them without being unalived. I can't go and do that. I'm not a familiar, never have been. My kids were at one point, because they had to be because of the neighborhood we lived in, but they were never affiliated. If you've been affiliated, you may have a ministry there. You said it was you was a really bad kid and teen, but now you're a good person. Yeah, that's why I say it ain't. Yeah, that's why I say that hot mess thing, girl. I'm telling you now. You only a hot mess because you are your own worst critic. You ain't done nothing else that ain't nobody else done did. Some of us get caught, some of us don't. Some of us wind up in a little bit more trouble than others, but everybody done did some shit they would kind of sort of rather nobody really talk about or whatnot. And if they ain't got the sense enough to be a little embarrassed, then something wrong with them. And I don't care whether they grew up in the church, in the White House, on the side. Everybody has done something that they would just sort. They look back and kind of cringe at. They so like, what was I thinking? Let me see. You said what now? You see, you was always like a justice card. Exactly. Cause who gonna help them babies? Who? They caught in a lifestyle, and most of the people that end up in the gangs, it's because of necessity, because of the environment that they're plunked down in. It's not a whole lot of kids leave the suburbs and go dive up in the projects in the inner city to go and join gangs. That's not typically the way it goes. Poverty bring a lot of nonsense with it. So you don't have to blame yourself for that. And there, like you said, there's a cycle there of mistreatment that fits. Yep, that part too. And you survive. Like Brittany saying, be proud of that, mama. You're not a hot mess. You are a warrior and a survivor. Because there's a whole lot of folks that don't make it out of them type scenarios, or they get so jaded and whatever that life they get absorbed by that lifestyle and literally become it. Release attachments came out here for you. Reassess. Hold on. Yeah, that is a huge deal. Oh wow. And then you got the childhood trauma too. Girl, be proud of yourself. Like I say, you ain't no hot mess. You got self-doubt issues here, being called to release some stuff. Release came out twice for you. Reassess, self-doubt. Hold on. Warrior spirit. I know it. I know it. Warrior spirit came here. Let me see. You're being asked to take stock of your life, let go of anything or anyone that no longer makes you happy. Notice who and what brings you joy and who or what doesn't. It's time for life cleanup, but you've been doing that. You've been doing that. There you go. Well, I appreciate you being feeling comfortable enough to share that, but I also want you to stop beating up on my friend about that. Listen, it's not your fault. And sometimes we get put in the middle of some very uncomfortable situations. And I'm not even saying that down when you get down to the physical mishandling that that's being done for you, but those people, unfortunately, they can only hurt people, hurt people. That's all I'm gonna leave it at that. Hurt people, hurt people. And yet you're still here. You're crawling out of that cycle of pain. So you gonna stop beating up on my friend, cause you a hell of a yeah. You're questioning yourself and unable to move forward. Don't let fear hold you back. You have the strength and power to see it through. Now is the time to break free from this limiting pattern. And you're doing it. Like you said, you are doing it. You're here. Release is here. You're being asked to release any toxic people or situations from your life. You deserve to be free of all drama, and this is the first step to achieving that. Release attachments. There's something you need to let go of. It's either a limiting belief, an untruth, or negative behavior. It's holding you back and keeping you from stepping into your true potential and happiness. And I honestly think it's still a little bit of this self judgment. You are you judging yourself a little harshly based on your past, and I get it, but I'm telling you, you need not you need to just forgive yourself and move on. You did the best you could. Oh, I'm sure it ain't. And look, you'll reveal as much as you feel comfortable revealing when it's time to. I'm not gonna press. You're always welcome. This is a safe space. If you're unsure about doing it here in a live stream, like I said, email me. You can join the WhatsApp group. We can either go into like create a separate group off from that if you want Brittany and all whoever on it, or me and you can voice talk or whatever. It doesn't have to be here. If you really, really need someone to talk to about some of that stuff and you want a safe space to unload, cry with, not be judged, all the rest of that, I'm here. And you don't have to do it here on this live stream. You can have as much privacy as you need. You can holler, cuss, whatever you need to do, and YouTube can stay the heck up out our business. Okay? Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. I can imagine. And honestly, that's one of the reasons, even though I felt a type of way about the poverty I took my children through, because of the poor choices in men that I chose to procreate with, at the end of the day, I had to forgive myself because part of the reason we went through poverty was, like I said, they daddies wasn't doing like he was supposed to do, but I wouldn't do what a lot of my other female friends around would do, and they holler about, oh, you got a money maker or whatever, and they would sit there and pile up dudes over top of their kids and stuff. My children never, after my youngest child's father and I lived together for almost 6 years. That's the only one of my baby daddies that I did live with long term. And after we broke up, my children never saw me live with another man. They never even memorized another man spending the night in our house until my youngest child was in her teenage years, when I had met a guy that I really thought I was going to marry, and he had children and I had children, and he was like, "It's time your children get to know me. It's time, and we were kind of doing that. And he spent a couple of weekends at my house because he lived in another part of the state. So when he came over, he made a long weekend of it and stayed with me a couple times. That was the first time my children had seen a man in my house since I left my youngest child's father when she was 3 years old, and she was like 13, 14 by the time that happened. Because I just wasn't having it. I never wanted my children to memorize coming down the stairs and seeing some dude standing there in his boxers and wife beater looking in the refrigerator eating their food, talking about what's up, little homie. Or, God forbid, I knew I'd go to prison if my daughters came and told me anything about about some dude messing with them. I've been timid, but not when it come to my babies. I would have been doing life, swinging my feet off the bump with a smile on my face. So to prevent all of that, I kept men up out my house. I don't blame you. I went and had fun. I did the maintenance man thing and all that, but I had an attitude. Now I don't recommend it now. Like you say, you're in goddess energy now. I don't recommend that now. But when I was out doing my thing, my attitude was, uh, if you really, really want to see me, number one, we're gonna meet in a neutral place or whatever. Cause I got my car. We're gonna do whatever we do. Or even if it got to the time where we was gonna go and have grown folk fun, if you can't take me to your house and Motel 6 can't leave the light on for us, then you don't want this. You don't need to lay up in my house. Like you said, I got children. No, I don't never want my children to be sitting there wanting to have, and I don't want them to have the thought run through the back of their mind that mama is a hoe. They might wonder because mama go out and date and go to the club and have a good time, but I also worked in a nightclub or whatever. Excuse me. But yeah, no, they wasn't finna have Fred in here this week and Bob through here the next week and Billy Joe the next week. And no, sir, no, ma'am. Motel 6 will leave the light on for us, so you won't get over here. That's what's gonna happen. Excuse me. Give me some water. Mm. We got warrior spirit, relentless commitment to challenges, approaches life as a personal battle, here to master your forceful nature. That's you, Miss CC. Yeah, you were supposed to email me. I didn't. I checked before, but not right before. Um, did you email me? I don't remember. A couple folks did, but if you emailed me, then I'll send you when I go back in. I got some rather long ones that I need to read them all, but I'll go back in and send you the link for the WhatsApp group to your email, and then I'm gonna check my Instagram too to see if anybody was over there. But I will send the links over there. We can connect on WhatsApp. Excuse me. Let's pull some tarot under the new moon. Oh yeah. Okay, no worries. Just go ahead on and do it. And you ain't got to ma'am me, girl. We the same age. You ain't got to ma'am me. Um, let me see. Honestly though, and I really want us to be able to talk, because the fact that you didn't let your mama know, that's even further buried trauma. You will be amazed at how much better you'll feel when you can get this all the way out. Okay? You will. I did something that I never thought that I would do. And I hated, in a way, I kind of sort of hated putting that burden on my daughter, but I needed to because she asked and she needed to know. Um, like I say, when I realized I was entering into this initiation period, if you will, all of my exes, including the one I didn't have children with, but they spun the block on me, right? Now, the oldest child's father, he didn't physically spin the block on me, but I still had to address the trauma. My initiation period last year literally kicked off with him dying on a weekend trip that he took with my daughter and her other siblings. And she was a hot mess because they had just, he was such a deadbeat, and they had just started kind of, she had been trying to cultivate a relationship with him through the years and stuff, but she had just kind of started making peace and getting to a more comfortable place with him and all the rest of that. And yeah, they went to the casino up in uh I forget where they was at, Maryland or somewhere, and he died. No, no, ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with not having told anyone, but there still comes a time in your healing that you need to tell someone. And I'm just saying, even you don't have to necessarily go back and address the people that did it to you, but knowing that there's a safe space where you can unburden that, just getting it out of your head to another person will help you begin to heal it, to be able to look at it, address it, have somebody validate it with you and for you. And then I don't understand how or why. Some people talk about writing stuff, and that's fine too. But there is something literally very, very special and healing about being able to share that trauma with someone else to get it out of you. It's like when your stomach is irritated and it's really irritated, and you start feeling sick and you start feeling sick, and eventually you get to where you can puke. It's literally like that. Um, and she asked me when he died, I was trying to be there for her, and I genuinely cried with her because I knew how bad she felt and all of that. But it took me through several days of reflection about the things that transpired between me and him, and how I felt about that, and how he treated her, and how I felt about that. And I really had to sit back and understand that he kind of sort of chose that exit point because he wasn't living his life right. And truthfully, it was merciful for him to be able to transition this early, with based on the karma that he had heaped on his own head, and where he had allowed his health conditions to get through neglect and abuse of substances and all sorts of stuff. And she had asked me, was I going to the funeral? And I made excuses, and I kind of hemmed and hawed. And, I was like, you married now, and that's your wife's responsibility, and blah, blah, blah. If I needed to be, because I had in the past, whenever that family had stuff going on, I would take her when she was a young child to represent, even though me and him didn't really have no further dealings with each other, and blah, blah, blah. But I distanced myself from the family. And she, after the funeral and all that, she, while we were talking on the phone, and she still wound up wanting to kind of rally back around that and wanting to know what the hesitation was with me. And I had to explain to her that she was conceived as a product of date rape. He was the one that really set me on a trajectory. I lost my virginity and got pregnant with her the same time. As a Jehovah's Witness, that was a lot for me. That, like I said, that was the beginning of me being separated from my family too, because they didn't, at that point in time, they didn't put up with that, and they would all of that good stuff. So it I had a lot of ill feelings towards him that I never took out on her and I never explained to her. I couldn't really pursue it legally because, like I said, that ain't how Jehovah's Witnesses operating back then. Date rape wasn't really even considered a thing back then. Sometimes, every once in a while, if it was a particularly egregious case, they had gotten to a point where they was kind of sort of starting to give it some credence, but it was such a hard case to fight. Very few women did back then. And I mean, like I said, I love my daughter, but yeah, I was just kind of done with him. And I had not planned on telling her that. But after I did, again, because I didn't get a chance to really talk to anybody about it, but after I did, it genuinely felt better. And it helped her understand. So I don't, because it wasn't her fault, but yeah. You said they still don't look at it much if they're married. Yeah. Well, he wasn't married. He wasn't even a witness. He was over at the first whatever the AME church. His mother was Eastern Star. His daddy was a deacon. But I had to go through the whole embarrassment of being called before the elders without my mother or father present and having them ask me the most invasive, disgustingly, embarrassingly inappropriate questions and all kinds of stuff. And I was on public reproof and they do public shaming in the Jehovah Witnesses. They don't give a rat's butt. And if you want to stay in there, you got to basically show up every week and live with that until they decide you done had enough punishment, and then they'll relieve you, let you back in full good graces and all that. It did. Cause again, I literally owe her my life. When she was 3, she's the only reason I'm still here. And I mean, I never tried to burden her with a lot of the stuff that I was going through, but I never genuinely lied to them either. And it was just time. Like I said, at 33, I felt like it's okay if she knows the truth now, because so she won't feel like, she's wondering why you so, I know he wasn't shit towards me, but why is it you wouldn't even go to his funeral? Hell no, I'm not going to his funeral. I ain't glad he gone, but hey, you wear your karma, boo. I ain't got to sit there and hoop and holler. Plus, you got a whole wife now. I don't have to act like I'm, sharing in all of this grief and stuff, especially when I know you just wearing your karma. So, oh, you're welcome, dear. You're welcome. Because, like I say, now I can talk about it. Because, and again, that was one of the things until I shared it with her, I really couldn't share it with anyone else, you know? Because I didn't ever want anybody else to bring it back to her other than me, which none of y'all would know her even, but I'm just saying until I put it out in the universe and actually got it off my head, and I didn't realize how much holding that for all those years had genuinely weighed on me until I was able to say it to somebody else. Because again, like I said, my mother and father didn't even ask questions like that. It was just all they knew was I allowed myself to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I didn't stop him. And now I'm pregnant. That's all they wanted to hear. They wasn't worried about my trauma or nothing else as a witness kid. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, associating with a worldly boy. The attitude is kind of like, well, that's what you get. Like for real, there was absolutely no healing for me to be had nowhere within the congregation, within my family, nothing. So I just had to suck it up and wear that with that scarlet A on my chest, like old girl, yeah, for years. The first card that came out here for you, though, CC, is an emperor with authority. So I don't think that this is necessarily a man. I think this is you coming into this emperor or empress energy. Let's see what we got. Or maybe it may be an emperor coming along to help with something. Oh, I don't know, though. Girl, the lovers and the ace of wands that came out here. Oh no, I ain't trying to drum up no man for you, but I swear, look, Emperor, Lovers, Ace of Wands. The lovers could be just be talk about cooperative component, like partnerships. It doesn't have to be, because truthfully, this could be a loving friend too. And I mean, this deck is not particularly rainbow alphabet community friendly, but this lover's card is two females. So it's not necessarily a romantic love or not necessarily a man. But the Ace of Wands typically is a phallic symbol referring to a masculine, just so you're aware. And here's the High Priestess. Okay. Wow. The Page of Swords is here. That's an early communication, some kind of an awakening happening here. Okay, well, me too. I'm strictly too, but I'm just saying the lovers doesn't always have to refer to an incoming romantic partner. Sometimes it's genuinely, like I said, an abiding friendship, business relationships, business partnerships, some kind of it's real love, but it doesn't always have to be romantic love. Although, if you open to the idea, like I said, I don't know, you don't see it coming. But the Emperor, the Lovers, the Ace of Wands, the High Priestess is here, and then the Page of Swords. The second line starts out with the Moon, so I know you don't see it. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. And the Ten of Pentacles, the Fool, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. Wow, wow. That's love, because the Ace of Cups for sure is that's emotional fulfillment. At the top of the deck, you got the Empress and the Hierophant. This is a spiritual. That is a spiritual union, and typically that now the High Priestess and the Hierophant are counterparts, but you got the Emperor and the Empress here too. So genuinely, this looks like a High Empress meeting up with an Emperor Hierophant. Divine union for show. Six of Pentacles here, Nine of Pentacles here, Wheel of Fortune, Two of Pentacles on the top end of the deck, and the Ten of Cups. A complete emotional fulfillment with the Queen of Wands here. She is the Witch of the Tarot with her manifesting self. Let me see if we can clarify this. I mean, it's pretty clear to me, but I just want to, very nice. Like I said, these cards ain't playing right here. What? That's some sweet cards coming out this deck right here. All right. Ooh, the King of Swords. The King of Flipping Swords. Do you have an Aquarius in your radar, or you might have one coming eventually? I don't know. I don't know. Hold on. This is crazy. I'll try something else and see if. Oh, okay. I don't know why that particular clip stopped playing. We'll get some music going in a minute. It sound like it's your turn. I help you say it sound like it's your turn. I can say I don't know when. I'm glad you are open to it. Look, I'm so used to these jaded women hollering about, I don't care, I don't want nobody, I don't. You ain't gotta want nobody, but it darn sure look like somebody wants you or gonna be. And again, it ain't no rush for that because we all still got a little more healing to do or whatever. I think it's just kind of giving you a sneak preview of what might be coming down the pike. Now, Brittany genuinely don't want nobody. She don't, and I get that part under her. But honestly, I don't think that's forever either for Brittany. I genuinely think that once once she gets to, she's focused on manifesting certain things right now. But once those things are manifested, and she genuinely, he kind of sit back and take a breather and just focus on her and getting that part done and focus on the spiritual, not really worrying about where the money gonna come from and all that other stuff, and get all of that under control. I think she might, if the right one comes along, she might be able to open herself to something like that. Ooh, at the split here, we got the Ace of Wands, which the Ace of Wands was over here, but this time the Lovers is clarified by the Ace of Wands. So again, a double phallic symbol right there: King of Swords, Ace of Wands, Justice, with the Wheel of Fortune and Temperance. Now on the top of this deck, the Two of Pentacles calling for balance with the which the Two of Pentacles was over here too, but it's here with the Moon. Uh oh, I done messed around and flipped this. Hold on. Ooh, Nine of Cups is here with the Ten of Pentacles. And then the Ten of Pentacles is clarifying the Fool. So the Ten of Pentacles has come out here twice. The Two of Pentacles has come out here twice. What else we got here? The Eight of Wands is on the way. With the Ace of Pentacles, we got the Eight of Wands. New venture is on the way. Eight of Wands. Ace of Cups. With the Four of Wands, that is for sure like the twin flame marriage card, all the rest of that. Yeah. Hot diggity is right, damn it. Girl. Let's see. Why is the Wheel of Fortune? Six of Swords. Again, you don't see it just yet, but you are in the process of moving from rough waters to calmer waters. So you will see it. You ain't got to see it now. You will see it. The Two of Cups is here. So 222. And the Two of Cups for sure is another partnership card. I love it in the Light Seers, the way they're holding hands into those cups. Yeah. Knight of Swords came out here. Well, I put it back. It started to flip out. Six of Pentacles. This is reciprocity. This is having enough money that you can do that philanthropic work, the all of that good stuff. This is a gorgeous reading. It is. Yeah, if you watch tarot at all, you know these kind of cards don't fall every day for everybody. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. This sexy little devil came out here. But honestly, he's out here with the Hierophant and the Empress. He's one of my favorite devils. But I honestly feel like it's basically not even looking so much at the stuckness of it. I believe this is just that Capricorn energy, the energy of commerce, because of what's coming out here with all of the financial abundance, the love, the emotional fulfillment, the movement towards these new ventures, new activities, new, 10, 10, 10, all of this stuff. With the devil popping out in the middle of these cards, I don't think it's anything untoward. I think it's literally just the Capricorn energy that is about big business, moving and shaking. Ten of Wands. Whoa, another 10. So you got 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands. You ain't gonna feel burdened much longer. I honestly just think that that's just closing out the cycle. I love it that this 10 of Wands, look at her. She done packed up her shit and she's on to something else. She's moving out. And that's basically what this is. Is here with this 10 of Cups. What's with the 2 of Pentacles? Why? Judgment. You've been judged and found worthy. The Chariot is here at the bottom of the deck. What else? Ooh, why the 7 of Wands was in reverse, but I ain't even taking that because we don't need that. Yep. Indeedy do. Now let me look over here just because I'm nosy. Got to look now just because I'm nosy. Make sure what's coming and ain't coming and what. Ooh, at the split. Look, some kind of spiritual work. We got the owl and the sun. So I mean, or yeah, the sun. Well, the sun is what it is. But in every deck, the sun is cool. Look at this here. These little sneaky behind people, but I ain't even worried about them. They can't do nothing with these foxes. They can't stop that. Maybe that means you need to be a little sneaky though. Keep it under your hat till you get it all lined up, which I know you will. Yeah, more information is coming. It's something you got to look at more closely, but you will, because the oh, that chariot. I was wondering like, what am I doing? But that came out later. Um, this Ace of Wands and the Lovers with this magnifying glass. You don't really, like I say, I don't think you've met your actual counterpart yet. But like you said, just the energy of knowing that it's available out there is fine. Yep. Oh yeah, love is coming. Got the tulips, the bouquet, the flowers. It hasn't been easy, but oh, and I just forgot about it. I didn't even think about it. We're talking about the 10-10. We had the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune is a 10 card, and it came out here twice. So you literally got 5 10s on this board. But this High Priestess energy, like I said, it's not quite revealed to you yet. Maybe who it is or what's going on. I'm not sure about that. And it has been maybe a long time coming or a hard road to hoe, as they say. This mountain represents that challenge and obstacles, but landing at the top of the wheel puts you in your Dharma season instead of karma. And luck is on the way. That's literally what this means. And that's another two. So there's 3 2s out here. Now the Emperor came out and the moon and all that. Yeah, this you got your intuition and gifts and all that stuff coming out here because this represents. The woman is you and is here with the moon and this 2 of Pentacles. Got 9 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles. Why is that here? The owls actually did pop back out. The birds in this deck represent gossip and tweeting. The owls represent basically some kind of talking about spiritual things or hidden things, occult information. So as you continue to level up, you're gonna teach in some capacity or speak on something spiritual in some capacity. Maybe write about something. I don't know, because this letter is here. And it's here with the Fool and the 10 of Pentacles. So it could be pretty much anything as you find your way into healing or a relationship or whatever the case may be. Either you're going to get more information about it or you're going to write some information about it. But that letter is here with this Ace of Pentacles. With the Fool and the 10. What's with the 8 of Wands and the and the Ace of Pentacles and the 8 of Wands? I said, maybe you're going to write about it. Maybe you're going to speak about it. No, you definitely going to speak about it some kind of way in public, because that's park is literally denotes some kind of public recognition, public speaking, public something in public on the spiritual tip. You said that's me and you? Sure. Can I confirm which of the archangels are working with you? I can try. We'll see. Bear with me 1 minute. I'm almost done here with CC. We'll take a look, Valerie. The ancestors is getting back, hooking you up with this though, CC, for sure. I'm gonna leave that one right there. I should have left this alone because choices came here, snake popped out. This kind of information and money do come with haters, but I don't even want it on the board. We're gonna stop at the bottom of the deck with this ring. That is love. And actually the tower underneath it, that is a divine protective tower. It's not a destructive tower in the Lenormand. It literally is sanctuary from the divine. All right, let me put these up, Miss Valerie, and we're gonna take a look and see what's going on with you and your guides, archangels, ascended masters, whoever wants to come out. We're gonna take a little looky loo and see if it resonates with you. I've got a couple decks that pull some masters, and we're gonna see who comes out once I get these squared away. Oh. I wouldn't be surprised if you part of the Michael and Raphael collective though, because they say they're my main dudes, but we're gonna see who all going on over here. Honestly, it might be me and you. Like I said, if it ain't the man, I'm not. Even though I got technically got somebody on my radar as a love interest, that's kind of sort of the furthest thing from my mind right now. Like I said, I'm with you. I'm focused on us doing the things that we done seen and saw and talked about, getting the money right, starting the foundation, doing all the rest of that. It's always time for a man. I ain't pressed for that at all. And sad part is, I think he know that now. Well, no, we were pretty wild for each other, but we've been at this for so long. I still care for him, but even though we were kept in separation, we've been in communication every day, basically. We're friends, and I love him, but that giddy stuff, no, when we get together, we'll get together, but I'm not pressed for it. You're welcome. You are welcome. Thank you for allowing me to read that beautiful energy. Those cards were amazing. All right, now we're gonna get over her. Oh, excuse me. Lord have mercy. I can't be sleepy at 10 o'clock. Can I? Where did this deck of cards go? Oh, here it is. My bad. Okay. Oh, mm, there they go. All right. You said if I'm able to get to you, who or what entity has been guiding you, and what messages. Oh, you didn't? I don't never know what to expect though, honey. They just it come when it come. Robin, I can get to you, but I want to answer Valerie's question since she had typed it in here, and then we'll handle you next. So, Valerie, and then you. Oh, I'm gonna sleep tonight. It's not. I don't even think it's so much that because I be feeling really good during the readings. I'm just not sleeping as well at night as I probably should. Um, My bed is not really comfortable. I'm grateful to have one. Don't get it twisted, but I ordered a bed online and it was never as comfortable as I wanted it to be. And like it's really not as comfortable as I like for it to be now. So between that and my usual tossing and turning and stuff, it just I'll be good though. Let me see. I want to. Now it's these are decks full of angels, so I'm not sure what resonates with you. We'll see who comes out and what resonates. All of them may or may not be. I'm also gonna pull from some other decks that has other ascended masters in them too, not just angels. And see what we come up with. Yeah. You said when it's time for you and Priestess to have a coffee, you coming too if you don't mind. Yeah. Oh, you talking to Brittany? Yeah. I'm sure she won't mind. She welcome. And all of y'all gonna have my digits for too long. Cause again, I don't mind y'all having my phone number at all, at all. I hesitate to put it out here on YouTube because of all the trolls and stuff. Oh, excuse me. Mm-mm-mm. I'm gonna drink me some water. That might help. I had said, I gotta. I'm glad you said that, Brittany. I gotta look and see. I think we can do the ceremony in WhatsApp, like a group call. I think I can do it there. And that way I can actually play we can go into either a guided meditation or meditation music. After that, I just have to find one that kind of resonates with us without by not publishing it on YouTube. I don't have the copyright issues and stuff that we would have by playing it loud enough for us to all be kind of listening to the same meditation at the same time. I think I can do it on WhatsApp that way. We'll just be keeping it private. And if we're all in that same group, as long as you don't decide to delete it, you'll still have it. Azrael and Raphael and came out. I think Michael gonna come out of here at some point because I'd be very surprised if he don't. I'm gonna read all of them and then, like I say, whatever resonates with you, you can kind of decide. That didn't truly jump out. If it wants to come out, it will. I'm gonna go one more time, and that's that. Interesting. The card that I put back because it flipped, but it didn't come all the way out was Uriel, and then another Uriel card came out right behind it. But Michael is here in the split. All right, now let me see what comes out of here. We're gonna look at them all together when I finish pulling from these. Oh, I did want to pull from this deck too. You got Uriel too, yeah. Ooh, Baba G flew up out the deck, but then maybe that's just because of the soul expansion. I'm not sure. Mavatar Baba G popped out of this deck. That might be one of your guides. You wanted to know about the angels, but that might be one of the ascended masters is trying to get your attention as well. Archangel Amethyst is here with divine alchemy. Trying to remember. I want to say Amethyst is Raphael's counterpart. I can't remember. I know Faith is, or is maybe Amethyst is Zadkiel's counterpart, but she is a twin. Faith is Michael's counterpart. I'm gonna look that up though in just a second because I'm curious now. Mediumship and fairies popped out of here. I was just trying to see if any specific archangels would come out of this deck. We're going to see. Raphael came out again. Yeah, okay. So Michael and Raphael, Uriel, definitely. At the bottom of the deck, Zadkiel fell off the bottom of the deck, and right underneath him is Sandalphon and Raphael again. Who's at the top of this deck? Seraphim, Sarisa. That's pretty cool, though, because like I said, they definitely showed up for you. I don't think, well, did Temperance come out in one of the readings for you? Because Temperance in the tarot is Chamuel. But Michael and Raphael, I know for sure came out, and I think we saw something from Israel either. I think that's it out of this deck because they didn't come out, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. I definitely want. I don't know. I'm really gonna have to look up who Amethyst is twins with. If it's Zachiel, I'm gonna trip because Zachiel and Amethyst came out here too. But Zachiel is the keeper of the violet flame. So if if Saint Germain is part of your spiritual team, Zachiel coming out would make sense. Serapis Bay came out here with Paradigm Shift. Wait a minute. What is this? Ooh. Hanuman is here. Is Devoted Warrior. And these might just be messages for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're working. Lady Nada and Green Tara are here. Interesting that you said somebody told you about Isis, though, because at the bottom of the deck, Brittany is but this isn't your spread, but it's just interesting because Horus is here with Manifestation Vortex. But yeah. All right. And let me look here. Hold on. I knew it. I couldn't remember, but yes. Archangel Amethyst Twin Flame is Archangel Zadkiel. Together, they are known as the keepers of the violet flame, and they work to transmute lower vibrations, clearing negative energies, and helping individuals to move beyond challenges and forge opportunities from difficult experiences. And out of one deck, Amethyst came out here, and out of another deck, Zadkiel came out. So I definitely think that means something. And these cards, let's see, we have Zadkiel says it's time for transmutation, carry the violet flame. Amethyst says divine alchemy, move beyond current challenges, focus on what you desire. And then we have Raphael a couple times here. Let me see. One of the cards from Raphael says it talks about angel therapy. Give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens. And then this card says, see with enlightened eyes open to abundance. And green is Raphael's color. Of course, purple are Zachiel and amethyst colors. Michael is here. Be clear about, with crystal clear intentions, be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. Oh, I forgot Raphael popped up here 3 times. I came up out of this other deck too. The healing angel is with you, supporting your healing work. So for sure, you on team Raphael for sure. And then Azrael is here with hello from heaven. Your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their loving blessings. This might just be an ancestor message for you here. But like I said, Michael is here. Azrael, Zachiel, Amethyst, Raphael, and Uriel. Trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. You know what to do. Sandalphon popped up here too. So honestly, if Sandalphon is here, you're on Team Metatron too. These Sandalphon and Metatron are not romantic twin flames, but they are twins because those are the two who actually had a human existence. Metatron was Enoch. Sandalphon was Elijah. He was Elijah. Tune into your divine potential. Bring the world into harmony. And then, of course, as far as the Ascended Master cards, we have Lady Nada here, Expanded Heart, Openness, Liberation, Let Yourself Love and Be Loved. And I find that the Ascended Masters will weave in and out of your life. Your core spiritual team will remain the same, but different Ascended Masters will come in and out of your life at different times based on what you got going on, the point of healing that you need to be at, or whatever the case may be at any given time. Green Tara is here with Healing Light, Wellness Unfolding. Know that healing is a journey. Hanuman is here, Devoted Warrior. Let God's love hold you in strength. I think I did call you a warrior earlier, and warrior did come out in the other Akashic cards with warrior spirit. Mavatar Babaji, soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things. And then Serapis Bay, paradigm shift, activation to grow, make the necessary change. And you are. No worries there. It's happening. Be gentle with yourself. Now, in the angel therapies, we came out with some base chakra work needed. Choose only positive thoughts to describe your home, career, and finances as your words determine your outcome. We're all starting to focus on speaking things into existence, manifesting. We're gonna start working with the moon cycles. Like I said, full moon, new moon. We'll keep at it. Right on out through the rest of the year. Do this thing. Fairies are here. You have a strong bond with the fairies, and your life purpose involves helping Mother Nature. Integrity is here. Align your actions so that they match your values and inner knowingness of what's right for you. And mediumship, you have the natural ability to connect with departed loved ones. You don't have to do it for other people, but you're saying if that gift is there with you, then you can like kind of tend to that for your own self. Because trust me, I don't have no problem being a tarot reader. I don't have a problem being a spontaneous channel for spirit. I chose not to open myself up to full blown mediumship. I don't want dead people clustering around me talking to me. I just don't. So this isn't talking about doing that. It's just saying your natural ability to tap in with your spirit team and your departed loved ones. It's not saying that you're going to be a medium for others. Yep, you said in the trenches, boots on the ground, where the beautiful people are, and the real work is. Ashe, for sure, for sure. All right, all right, all right. Are you complete with that, Valerie, or do we need to pull something further for you? Yeah, CC, you can ask a question, and then yeah, we're gonna take care of your question, and then Robin. Let me see. Oh, let me make sure that Valerie is complete first. Does that did I answer your question sufficiently, or did you have something else that you needed me to look into for you, my dear? Valerie might have got booted out the room because the internet been tripping a little bit today. So while we're waiting on her, what's your question, CC? You forgot you supposed to be receiving a settlement. How's that coming? Girl, yeah, you forget. It must be nice, but I ain't mad at you. Truthfully, sometimes getting your mind off of it, allow it to do what it do. So let's take a look. Uh-oh. Let me put this over her. Might pull from this one too. Oh, where in the world? What fell over here? Now I don't know what that means, but when I picked up this deck, the card that fell off the top of it was Rider, which denotes a messenger, movement, travel, news, full speed ahead. So that might have something to do with this. Get way too much. Honestly, not stressing about it might be a good thing. Like I said, it might actually help. That just we're gonna see. Excuse me. Hold on. All right, Spirit. CC is looking for money coming from a lawsuit. How is that coming? Opportunity popped out. The situation will improve. And honestly, no, he's here, but it came out in the reverse. So I'm gonna put it back, see if we can get a clearer answer here. I want to for sure. Oh shit. Remain positive came here though, so that might have been the real question. I'm gonna take it as such because how is this lawsuit coming? Maybe that means it's not coming just yet. Ain't nobody asking about romance. It says no need to worry at the bottom of the deck though, but it also says there's something better and a year from now. So I don't know if that means that like I said, just continue not worrying about it and let it do what it do. You might have another one windfall coming in even before that lawsuit to not have to worry about it because a couple times, like I said, no popped out, but it popped out in the reverse, and then remain positive popped out with no underneath it, but I only took the first no. I mean, the first card that came out of that. Let me see if anything else comes. Oh, success came out with an exclamation point though. So I'm like I say, but I still think it's gonna be a bit of a wait, and I honestly think you're gonna see some kind of financial movement even before that come. By the time that comes, You may still be done forgot about it. So yeah. Let's see if we can get some answers out of another deck. All right, can we get an answer in regard to settlement that CC is looking for? A year from now came out again with the Hierophant. This is literally a timing card indicating a year from now. But at the bottom of this deck, oh, wait a minute. Overflowing abundance is here, chasing after something. Trophy is here with victory and victory and reputation. Let me see what's at the. Oh, that's squirrel. That don't necessarily mean nothing. You said may have shifted to a new timeline. Honestly, I was at the point where I'm sitting up here. I was thinking about doing a quantum shift, but if we do one, y'all, with the things that we're seeing and trying to manifest, I honestly don't want to even attempt another quantum jump without y'all. I really don't. So I chose not to do that. But let me know if y'all are interested in doing a quantum shift together. I'd be more than happy to. Element of water is here, healing and flowing. It said that's a 50-50 card. Things are fluid. So it could go either way. And then the Gemini card here with the lovers is here. So I don't know if that goes back to that cooperative component situation that you were seeing in the other cards. Diamond ring is here. It's talking about union. Next level Mars with the tower is here. Upheaval, change. Challenge the status quo is here with the eagle, but new hope is here. That's new hope, literally. Ooh, some kind of a closing of a cycle came out with the coffin and rising above. With Venus and the Empress. That's attraction and abundance. So I don't think it's dead in the water, but I think it's going to be a while yet. We got a year from now twice. And then somebody, like I said, the 50-50 card is saying remain positive, no need to worry, all the rest of that. But we had two cards that indicated that it's not going to be as sudden as you like to think. It is 11-11. Yeah, I see that. You said that man better wait. You got things to do. Again, I don't think the man is in no hurry. I think that was just for the timing aspect of it with the Hierophant, because it was for that particular deck. It is a timing card of a year from now. But I don't think a delay is a deny. I think it's just gonna be a while longer yet before you see results on that. I love the 11-11 aspect. Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. All right. Was it Valerie? Rob? It was Robin first, I think. Yeah. Or was it Valerie? Hold on. Yeah, it was Robin and then Valerie. I think that was the way it went. You say you came to leap with us too. Again, I want everybody to think about it collectively because I don't have to. I've done quantum leap exercises before. That's how I wound up on this timeline. It basically floated away from everybody that I knew and held dear to me. So now that I've bumped into this beautiful soul tribe, unless we all kind of shifting and got an idea where we're headed, I don't really want to mess around with shifting anymore like that. I know we're all kind of on the smaller timeline shifts. We're surfing timelines all the time. But I'm talking about them major quantum shifts. Yeah, they do work. I just want to make sure that who I'm jumping with and what we jumping to. That would be kind of interesting though if we can really sit down and think about it and collectively kind of construct maybe even a guided meditation so that we're making a very specific jump collectively with five or six, seven, maybe even 10 energies pulling together to do a quantum jump at the same time. I wonder what that would do to the timelines and the time space reality. That might be interesting. Yeah, we can hold off till after the moon changes. Exactly. Quite honestly, yeah. Ooh. If we really want to be specific about it and see what happens, we could do it on was it October 25th? They said that the meteor was going to be closest to the sun and those energies will be powerful. That might be interesting. That'll give us plenty of time to actually, yeah, after the Powerball and all, because for sure somebody gonna be hit by then. But I'm pretty sure, like I said, it's gonna be us. But you know what I mean. But when those energies are high like that, excuse me, for us to set that intention and do a group session together and jump together like that, like I said, we might put a ripple in time that other people can see too. You say you willing? Cool. That's something we can keep in mind then. I just like I don't have I genuinely, other than my roommate and an occasional phone acquaintance in Virginia, my children, and my boyfriend. Other than that, I have no one left. They done all vibrated away. So with you guys, like I said, I'm not anxious to jump by myself and run the risk of separating from you all. Excuse me. Whenever I shifted, Brittany, it was in meditation too. Like I said, I saw a timeline shift once when I was coming out of meditation. It would literally look like when I opened my eyes, it went, and then a few seconds later, it did it again, and I thought it had shifted back to where it was, and then I got several Mandela effects after that to let me know, no, 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 we're not in Kansas anymore. And it happened one day. Actually, I was in here and I was laying down, and the air got so thick and still till all I could do was just kind of lay down and allow it to pass. But it literally felt like, you know how if you were having a body scan where you would feel energy like moving across you, but it felt like time stood still for a good 2 or 3 minutes. The air got thick, the way things sounded, even for a moment, the buzzing in my head that's been buzzing since 2019 or 2018, that even stopped. Everything stopped. And then, like I said, after what felt like a few minutes, then it resumed. You say you ain't going nowhere at all. Awesome, cool. I love that. But that's why I said I won't even attempt a willful jump. We may spontaneously, but I wouldn't attempt a willful quantum leap unless we were all kind of in the same accord and jump with y'all. All right, Robin. Robin, we ready for yours, my love? And then it'll be Robin and then Valerie. Uh-oh. Or was it, wait a minute. Who was that I was pulling for? Oh no, Cece asked about the archangels. So, Robin, what's your question, dear? You only have your three girls, your son-in-law, your three grandchildren, your little brother. Yep. See? And I think a lot of us are like that for a reason. I believe you. At this point, truthfully, I'm kind of the matriarch in my, well, when I say because of my religious stuff that went down, I still have some living family members, but my sisters are getting very much older. My sisters are 77 and 82 this year. My oldest sister, she's a foster sister, but I mean she's family. But yeah, they're 77 and 82 this year. So, and they don't have nothing much left to do with me, but I have some nieces and nephews and stuff. But my children, so basically I'm the matriarch of my little group, but that's another reason why I would love to get my finances together and all the rest of that and just put them all together. Yep. But when I say my family, I'm genuinely talking about the children I gave birth to. That's what I got left. Because I can't, I couldn't allow myself to stay in that hurt place looking after people that ain't giving a flip about me. And even though the JWs have somewhat softened their stance about socializing with family members and stuff, they never call me. They don't check on me. They don't email me. They don't hit me up in Facebook, none of that. So, and at this point, I'm cool with that because none of what I say, like I said, they be clutching their pearls for real if they heard the stuff that I got to say. I sent my sister a playlist. She ain't even respond to let me know she had watched any of it. She ain't ready to hear this. Oh, who are your guides? Yeah. And what message do they have for you regarding finances and your spiritual path? All right, let's see. Regarding your finances, they said stick around till we manifest this money and we're gonna be good. That's what it no, I'm just Mm-mm-mm. Regarding your finances and your spiritual path. And who are your guides? Let's see if something can come up out of here. Oh, child, I know my family think I'm crazy, but they'll be all right. What do they say? He that laughs best, laugh last? Something like that. All right, let's see. Who are your guides? Who are your guides? Who are your guides? And then, ooh, excuse me. All right, Miss Robin. You say you do like the way I read. Honestly, when I first decided or first came to realize the that I was being called to read, I was very concerned about it because I'm like, I know a lot of folks like to read intuitively and they'll pull three cards and talk for 45 minutes over them. But I'm like, I got all these cards. Why not just let the cards determine and I'll expound where I feel a need to, where I'm called to. But I just had to go with it and understand that different people read different ways, and I just had to read the way I'm called to. So I'm glad it resonates with y'all, honestly. And I had to realize that too. I was like, okay, I read differently than other tarot readers, but the people I'm reading for different people than the other tarot readers are reading for as well. So maybe the way spirit is leading me to relate to and read the cards is going to be an alignment for the soul family I'm calling in, and I just had to let it go. Cool. I'm glad you. I appreciate the confirmations because I'm telling you, have no idea how much angst I had over that. Because I'm like, my readings don't sound like other people's. Because I trust me, like I said, I got favorite tarot readers too, and I watched a lot of them, and I love the way they read and all the rest of that, and the way some of them put together them tarot stories and and all of that. And I'm like, but why ain't I? Because spirits were like, that ain't your gig. That's why. Every now and then a story will come up out of me, but then I think about it too. A lot of those stories are for people that are still stuck in a level of karmic drama and trauma that just isn't here in this collective. Y'all have been there and done that. I'm reading for teachers and mentors and light workers and priests and priestesses and hierophants, and yeah, I'm not reading for somebody that's trying to figure out who their baby daddy is and is he coming back. I'm just not. Ain't nothing wrong with that, and God bless the women who are men who can read them energies, but that would exhaust me. My patience, I ain't far enough in my spiritual journey to wade in that kind of karmic nonsense all day, every day, and be okay. I can't even listen. Like I mentioned Chiron the other day, and like I said, when he was all up in my business, he was all up in it. But after I had heard that and got the information I needed to get and healed from it and moved on, I had to stop listening to him for a while because I'm like, this message, you done chewed all the flavor out of this gum. I don't need to hear about these damn toxic ass karmics no more. I know what my karmics were. Please and thank you for reading and letting me know about that information, but I don't want to still be hearing about it a year later. That was your question also, Valerie? Okay, let me take care of Miss Robin first, and then we'll do the same thing for you. Haniel just came out here with passion, trust, and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. Okay. Haniel Jeremiel with life review. And Shamuel with career transition. Your life purpose is triggering a blessed change. Haniel is out here with moon cycles too. And Jeremiel came out here twice with overcoming difficulties. We're gonna look at them more in detail when I finish pulling, but I think that's it for now. But, all right. On the split, Yeshua is right here. I gotta take that. So Jesus is here, acts of service. Kind of sort of knew that anyway. When you serve, the universe serves you. Rama and Sita are here, holy union. That's a soulmate connection and romantic opportunity. And again, ain't nobody rushing it, but be aware that might be something for you to consider. Isis at the bottom of this deck. I think that, and it is turned the other. Yep, that was different. And Thoth at the top of the deck. Okay. So Yeshua, Isis, Thoth. I'm not sure about this Rama and Sita. That just may be a message of a holy union coming in. Let me see. The teacher awakens, the student becomes the master. Paul the Venetian is here. I was wondering if Saint Germain was gonna pop out. Faith is here, who is Michael's counterpart. Now, if Michael pop out here, I don't know. Hilarion with divine healing. So interesting, because Michael, Raphael, quick to jump out, but this time I'm looking at Haniel, Jeremiel, and Chamuel. Passion is here with Haniel. Trust and follow your renewed passion in your love, life, and career. Jeremiel is here with life review and overcoming difficulties. These cards are hard to read because of that hologram stuff. They look pretty, but they are hard to read. Take inventory of your life and resolve to change or heal anything that is unbalanced. And the worst is now behind you, and you are surmounting any previous challenges. So those are there, along with career transition. Your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. You said the universe you serve and your universe answers directly and promptly now. Yeah. As far as guides, Yeshua, Isis, Thoth, and again, I don't know whether you have any kind of Vedic tradition in your background, but Rama and Sita are here. And again, this may just have to do with the love life situation, the holy union. Yeah, it says call back your power and what is rightfully yours with Isis in this reclaiming magic. And when you serve, the universe serves you. That's what Yeshua's message from the card is. Yep. And Thoth's message is the teacher awakens, the student becomes the master. There's also Hilarion here with divine healing. Honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light supports others. Faith is here with humanity and benevolence. Stay calm, trust the good in yourself and others. See the light in the world. And Paul the Venetian with experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. Now let's take a look at this money over here. Oh, I want to look at the abundance angels too, because that might have they might have a message for you in there. It says God is your source and focus on your priorities. Everything you need is supplied by the infinite source of God, and your faith opens the doorway to receive. In God, there is no lack or limitation. Rather, there is plenty of abundance for all to share. And then focus on your priorities. Where you put your focus is where you receive your outcome. Your priorities are calling you, which may produce a feeling of anxiety unless you give them the time and attention they and you deserve. Even a small amount of time devoted to your priorities will help you feel better and more confident. Let me see what else is here. If anything else wants to come up out of here. Ooh. Sever vows of poverty. Dear one, there's no need to suffer or sacrifice. Hold on hold the intention of undoing any vows of poverty or self-denial that you may have consciously or unconsciously in any lifetime. And I think that's the key for a lot of us. A lot of the stuff that we're going through might be stuff that we're bringing as a follow over from previous lives. As you do so, all effects of these vows will be undone for everyone involved in all directions of time. And that came here with windfall of abundance. An increase in abundance is arriving in many different forms, some of them unexpected. Be open to receiving and know that this abundance comes to you to support your life purpose, health, and charitable work. That part. Said follow. Oh, you hadn't thought about that, about it coming chasing us through lifetimes. A lot of us are old souls. We get our memories wiped, but a lot of us are here to finish out karmic cycles or karmic lessons that have literally followed us from several different lifetimes. Some of us are here closing out karmic lessons and cycles, ancestral healing for our bloodlines. It don't even necessarily have to be our own stuff. It could be, especially with the money angle and as many people as are struggling with it, some of them poverty cycles may genuinely be from our ancestral bloodlines that we're closing those cycles up for. Clover is here. Lucky break, good fortune, chance, outdoors. It talks about surprises and finance with the clover. A golden four-leaf clover. I like that. Woo! Spiral is here. Out of control, climbing the ladder, upward trend. Talks about possibly revisiting a job, promotion, and connections. Hopefully, the only job you're gonna have to revisit is when you call them and ride up in your limo to tell them you quit. Now, that's what I'm claiming for you. Anyway, you wanted to go back and correct something like break all the chains. Yeah. Book is here. Paperwork, contracts, learning as you go, writing, taking a class, education, and law. When we finish jumping that timeline, we all gonna have to learn some stuff about how, making them kind of money moves like we ain't never made before, and that do require some learning and paperwork and contracts and all of that. So yeah. Oops. Mass, secret stash, saving pennies, finding money, hidden potential, and unknown. Also, like I said, when that kind of stuff happens, keeping it to yourself. That's what I thought I'm hearing in my head when I see this mass situation. Financial relief, being content, loving care, job security, supportive role with the rose here. Now let's see. Let's see. I'd say, I shoot. Trust me, some of the stuff the cycles that I've dealt with, I look forward to closing out some of them too. Like I said, it's kind of like spirit giving you a do over in life, so that now that you done learn those mistakes and them people done took advantage and all of whatever, and you done lost this, you ain't looking to get it back from them. You understand that God is your supply, blah blah blah. That's all well and good. Now, when do I get the do over so we can do something different? Ooh. Don't let a past setback define your future. Stay focused on your positive outcome, as your thoughts and beliefs will directly affect your reality. This is looking at loss. When I just said not worrying about the stuff we're not going to get back, loss shot up out this deck. Freedom of time is here. The freedom to do whatever you want with your time is one of the ultimate benchmarks of an abundant life. You're the master of your schedule. What else? Ooh, what's this? Advocate and self-care here. If you want to live like royalty, start by treating yourself like royalty. And advocate, you'll find so much fulfillment in working for a cause that you truly believe in. Ain't that what we've been talking about for the last few days? Absolutely. Believe. When you wholeheartedly embrace the attainability of your dreams, you will find the courage to exceed the ordinary. I still wish they give us more of a timeline, but it's not. It's just telling you, you done seen it. You saint it. Like they say, you saint it. Ooh, thrive and believe and see the potential is here in the split and be here now. Goodness. Okay, we got on the mend, getting better here. Growth is a journey, not a destination. Welcome improvements one step at a time. Quiet moments and hear what's unsaid. Tune into the stillness or tune into the silence for truths that words cannot express. Listen deeply. And then talks about staying in the flow here, surrender to the rhythm of life, remain open to opportunities and lessons as they naturally unfold. Ooh, we got the resurrection card, recovery and comeback. Find strength and healing as each step forward renews hope and paves the way for triumphant resurgence, resurrection. Shake off the past and rise again. Reinvent yourself, and you will rise up from the ashes even more powerful. So, yeah, this resurrection period is coming. Let's see. We got one more of the money moves cards, and then we're going to start looking at the spiritual path a little bit. Mental mastery is here. You will master a skill that enhances your mental acuity and analytical abilities. Focus on skill refinement, excel in execution. Flight is here. Escape environments that constrain you and find a new space that fosters your personal growth. Set yourself free. I know, like I say, well, as soon as you give me the money, spirit, I surely will. But I know. What's this? Ooh, wait a minute. Okay, I think this is a warning about some past stuff because it said theft here. Beware of losses in your inner circle. Secure your valuables. Enhance your security. I think you've already kind of done that by drilling down on, making your inner circle very, very small. Two-faced, sometimes showing only part of ourselves to the world. Guard vulnerability wisely. And honestly, if you in a manifesting season, this this two-faced thing, this is not a bad thing. It's not saying being two-faced is and being dishonest. It's saying get wear your poker face because if they see what's going on, they're coming for you. So you sometimes you just got to keep it under your hat. But you know that, yeah. Now, let me see. Ooh, at the bottom of the deck, we got celestial guidance. Receive profound insights and messages from the stars or guidance. This is astrological insights and star wisdom. And then at the Top of the deck, we got connect with higher self. Connect with your higher self to gain wisdom and guidance. This is higher self connection and wisdom. Okay. Interesting when you talked about the universe, guidance from the universe is here, open to the universe's wisdom or divine guidance and cosmic connection. Emotional balance, maintain emotional balance to preserve inner stability and harmony. True self, discover and express your true self to return to inner authenticity. And soul light, your soul's light guides your inner world and path through awakening. This is about revelation and awakening and guidance. Now, you said about your spiritual path. I'm going to pull a Yeshua, a Christ consciousness card, a Metatron card, and a light workers, and see where we at with that. Hopefully we'll just get one. But then again, I know how they do, so. Yep, two came. Let me see what they are. Mind trap and doubt with Thomas, and then spiritual practice, structure and routine. Let's see what comes out over here. Hey, Miss Yates, how you doing, Miss Amanda? Welcome, welcome. Ooh, and it's 11:44. And here come one of the 144, right at 11:44. I like it. I like it a lot. Blessings and thanks. Abundant universe came out here. All right. Oh, that's your number, 11:44, and you showed up right at. Oh, Brittany, yeah, I say Amanda showed up at 11:44, and that's your number. All right, you just cooked a beautiful meal for your ancestors. That's awesome. Oh man, we got two of these too, master healer and grounding. Okay, what's at the bottom of this deck? I almost feel obligated to pull two since we got two of this other one. You know how I am with them threes. Two and three twos is a six. So I'm trying to see if one more. There it is. Ancestors. Haha. That part. All right. Um, where is this? Hold on. There you go. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start with Christ consciousness and card number 6. Thomas is here with mind trap and doubt. Thomas was the disciple who demanded proof from Jesus even as he stood before him as the risen Lord. How many times have we blocked the miracle or unexpected piece of good news because we fail to believe it can possibly be true? Old scripts and inner programming that good things don't happen to me or I can't do it run rampant and quash the magnificence of creation that is found in you in every potential moment. We can be cynical or afraid of being let down, unused to receiving, or just blind to the wonders all around us. Too often we are driven not from our hearts, but from the mind and ego, which want evidence before proceeding, yet the miracle zone lives outside the confines of what is possible or even probable. Says in many ways Thomas was lucky. His declaration that he would believe only if he could touch Christ's wounds was granted. However, Thomas also showed acts of bravery and faith elsewhere that have largely been forgotten, where no such confirmative sign was central to his decision making. He was the disciple who traveled to Judea with Jesus despite fears for their personal safety. He showed courage there, so too his quite well documented missionary work to India in years that followed. Hardly the feat of a man consumed permanently by doubt and lower energies. Thomas, like all of us, represents times we believe and gather our strength and courage, and other moments when where fear or doubt take over. He represents being human in all our differing moments of weaknesses and strength. Belief itself is seldom a static, unmoving energy. It ebbs and flows like the sea. Sometimes we will be granted signs or proof of our answers to our prayers, and sometimes we will have to carry on regardless, feeling as though we are stumbling around in the dark. But God never leaves us. We may miss signs or reject them, but God never abandons us. Having Thomas near you today is a sign that it is okay to be human. Maybe you're confused or in doubt. If so, be gentle with yourself. You may be questioning your ability to cope, to fulfill an obligation, or to meet a goal or task. You could also be going through a dark night of the soul, questioning everything and not knowing what to believe anymore. Truly, however, such moments serve you. They filter away what is no longer relevant and shine a light on what is. Sometimes this will tie into a crisis of faith, but it is not wrong to question. It is how we grow, and we are not intended to take everything at face value either. Balance is always needed. These doubts may apply to any area of your life: relationships, fighting an illness, your ability to find work, finding care for a loved one, having the patience to care for children or elderly relatives. We are tested in many ways, but we are never set up to fail. Strength lies always within us, as does spiritual help encouraging us on. Today, it is okay to ask for a sign. It may come in unexpected ways, not as you imagine or request it. Be open to signs that confirm, but also realize that they don't always have to come. As with Thomas, he grew to realize he didn't always need one either. His heart already knew. It was his mind that brought the doubt, trapping him, but from which he also learned to break free. Yep, yep. And then we have, let me see, spiritual practice, which is 48. Structure and routine. You are reminded of the importance of taking time to pause and connect with your higher self and your core beliefs, a time to sort through mental clutter and noise and come back to a state of inner peace. Without a regular spiritual practice, life becomes more frantic, unfocused, and harder than it needs to be. Spending time in quiet contemplation, joyous singing, chanting, or prayer are all recommended. It can be done alone or with others, but regularity and adding structure to your routine will bring maximum benefits of well being. Without spiritual focus and a practice to support it, we can quickly lose our direction and become distracted and out of harmony, forgetting our true nature as a child of God. It also can be a way to nourish ourselves, filling up our own cup so we can serve others better, having received what we needed first. A spiritual practice also helps us reaffirm daily what we believe and helps in our commitment to live a sacred life. It assists us on hard days when we seek help and during happier times too. You said regarding that Thomas spirit, wow, I'm glad that because I wasn't going to read the whole thing, but I'm kind of glad I did. Yeah. Let me see. Anything done with intention is highlighted today. It could be via lighting a candle to remember a loved one, painting a mandala, doing a good deed to help another, observing silence, taking a mindful walk where every sense is alive to what wishes to be shown, or taking time to count your blessings and thank God for all you have. You may find it helpful to use tools to help you still your mind, deepening your practice. These may include crystals, aromatherapy oils, prayer books, healing tinctures, incense, and more. Setting up an altar in your home or workplace can also help create a conducive environment. Fill this with meaningful things that help you connect: photographs, artwork, statues. These things are simply act as keys to help bring you into deeper awareness, offering your senses cues that are helpful. Churches and places of worship have always been adorned with beauty. It is a way to celebrate God, but here no middleman is needed, and you create a direct and meaningful connection that enriches you deeply. You are also reminded that spiritual practice is about how we conduct ourselves and how we live our life. To make a life to make our life a living testament to what we hold true and to honor is the biggest way we can demonstrate our practice every day, to live as Jesus would. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's okay to go full in. And whatever that looks like or feels like to you, if it feels right and you feel guided to, yeah, do it. It says, think about what you currently do to connect, offer thanks, ask guidance for spirit to listen. It may be, wait a minute. Yeah, it may be that this is a call to continuation of those actions or a suggestion to adapt or start something new. Sometimes we can say prayers on automatic pilot, reciting well known words without much conviction, but to be conscious of every word we utter takes prayer into a different level of communication. Meditation is also best done not squeezed into an expectation of what you want or think it should be, but rather a gradual unfolding of what it could be, which will change and flow accordingly. Having the space to listen and to be open to what arises is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. We surrender our will into thy will and become at one with the greater universe of God, our universe and God. Yep. And then we mosey on over to the Metatron deck. And out of that deck came Blessing and Thanks, card 47. Abundant Universe. The question is, do you feel worthy to claim it? It says, drawing this card shows that blessings are available to you now and you are offered a full harvest. The question is, do you feel worthy to claim it? Universal harvest is available to all, and yet so often in a world of suffering and sense of lack, it is easy to be fearful that there isn't enough. There is not what was intended. This is not what was intended. The earth has bounty for all to share freely, but the reality is blocked by fear, and we feel the need to hoard and save and worry over where the next meal is coming from, how to pay the next bill. Often we have grown up seeing debt and poverty as a way of life. What if you were told that you will always have enough, but you need to trust that it is so? What feelings does that bring up in you to heal? Maybe there's a story of lack within your own family, lack of money, lack of food, lack of security or safety. And so you dread those states of being. And even when you do have enough, you still worry it will all be taken away. This card now highlights the need to heal that part of you that fears not being supported and looked after. Your spiritual army of helpers will not see you go hungry or alone if you truly ask for their help. For the truth is that the earth is alive and able to evolve and sustain all who live upon her as long as Gaia is respected and energy and intention are poured back into her soil and her elements. And this is something that all can do every day. The simplest way to give back to the earth is to give thanks, to be full of gratitude for all that you have, for the food on your plate, the money in your pocket, the sounds and rhythm of your beautiful world that wants to bestow many blessings onto you if you are open to receive. The cornucopia or horn of plenty illustrated here symbolizes all the abundance available to you, everything that you need for your well being: fresh food, golden coins, light rays, and the sounds of the universe filling your soul with songs and joy. The warmth of the colors also reminds you to be thankful for the heat of an open fire, a warm bed, a loving home. The wish of the angels is to bring you all this and more. Saying thank you for what you already have is a courtesy that brings more to your door, a never ending supply of help, sustenance, and whatever you need to thrive in this life, and it is offered here for you now, open to receive. Awesome. And then 34 is here. And that's me too, Robin. I understand that there's enough, but I do also understand there's something in my programming has some kind of a hitch in my giddy up about money because I went through poverty cycles. Obviously, there's some kind of a disconnect between what I know to be true at my core and something that I picked up in the programming along the way that is just, and I'm not even sure what it is exactly or how to fix that. So I be just like, it's something I continue to work on because again, and I'm quote what they call quote unquote delusional enough to completely understand that if the ascended masters and angels chose to, they could literally rip the time space reality right now and drop a mountain of money right on in this living room floor completely out of the ethers, out of the blue. If they chose to, I could go into my banking app right now and find $10 million in my banking app, 100, any amount of money, if they chose to. So it's like I don't understand why it's not coming because I'm not. I don't think I'm denying help, but yeah. So I get it, but again, I think we all have those kind of little things to work on. I don't know. You say you've been denying help, girl. You better stop. That's all right. We like I said, we're gonna help each other because we all walking each other home. We start manifesting and keeping it up and doing our little prayer groups, a circle, whatever the case may be. We're gonna figure it out. We're getting there. We're gonna get there. Our ancestors live on through us and within us. This is appreciation and healing from the ancestors. Now is the time to remember where you have come from and what you may have inherited via your DNA, genetic memories, patterns, behaviors, always remembering that our ancestors did the best they could with what they knew at the time and the circumstances in which they lived their lives. Those on the other side of the veil often stand with us, waiting for forgiveness, acknowledgement, and freedom from pain that they were not able to clear while alive. Freeing them frees us. Healing is not limited to any one time, place, and event. Its effects are far reaching and cross many realms of existence. Archangel Metatron, who has been in existence since this earth was created, has seen everything that has happened to you and your family, including members you never met, going back generation after generation. Repetitive issues or circumstances seem to play out again and again in families. Poverty, alcoholism, infidelity, broken marriages, failed businesses. We have to heal the ancestors too, and with Metatron's help, you can do this by taking that healing back through the family line and then forward to future generations where DNA has been cleaned and the memories of the past challenges replaced by optimistic strands to be planted in new fertile lives. Think about what needs healing in your family line today and bring this to the light for clearing. And it's crazy. We've been talking about the ancestral lines and karma and all the rest of that. And then out of what 60 cards in that deck, this is one of the ones that came out. The image on this card also asks us to acknowledge all the beauty of our ancestral line. You are the product of all of them, a survivor who has their strengths and talents and gifts. Maybe some of these were unexpressed in their lifetime, but you can do it for them now, and they will always encourage you on. Like the nurse in the 1920s who had no modern medicine to prevent many from dying, but her grandchild in the present is equipped to heal mind, body, and soul. Or great grandparents who painted and were creative carried to that young child now who displays enormous gifts and everyone wonders where it came from. There is so much ability and help unseen most of the time from the past and from the future. Take a moment to look at this image and see yourself as part of something much bigger than you can ever imagine. These souls are part of your soul group, always there and present if called. Realize too that the ancient figure in the back at the back of the back of the long line may be the new child now cradled in the father's arms. The flow of love between the generations is constantly rebirthing itself and remembering what it is to be human. You were able to call on your ancestors at this time to help you. They will they will they will you they will you on, excuse me, and cheer it from afar. I had to think about that. You say you've been having spurts of sadness regarding how now ancestors and tragedies that your siblings had experienced, now ancestors. And honestly, you may be taken through some of that to purge some of that, to be able to alchemize some of that sadness and some of the tragedy by alchemizing the pain. And sometimes we have to sit with it, you know. But yeah, it's just, I find that very fitting then that you've been having those kinds of thoughts of the ancestors. And like I said, out of how many cards in this deck? Let me see. It's 55 cards in this deck. And blessing and thanks and the ancestors were the two that came out. And both of these cards were super relevant this evening. So that too can be a message from the ancestors while you're playing. And now we're going to look at the spiritual gifts through the Lightworker Oracle. We have 15 with grounding. You long for the free and open worlds of spirit and light, yet you also yearn to experience healing power and divine joy of sacred sound and living color. You are meant to bring joy, beauty, and comfort to this world, to share the spiritual light. To do so, you need grounding. Your dreams want you just as much as you want them. Grounding helps you bring your dreams to life in your world for the benefit of many. When a reminder comes from higher guidance to ground oneself, it is loving encouragement, never a judgment. Grounding is a spiritual version of remembering to call your mother. It is a chance to check in with what's happening in your physical life and make sure you're giving appropriate time and energy to what really matters to your heart. It is a chance to appreciate the beauty of the natural world and the love in your relationships. It is a chance to make sure your spiritual work is being applied in your life in the ways that feel good for you. It is a chance to speak your prayers rather than only think them. You might even dance them or create a colorful flower offering for your altar or sing them from your heart. We are guided to ground ourselves when there has been an increase of light to the head. This can occur through meditation, prayer, or conscious connection with spirit. You might be on fire with ideas and inspiration, but struggling to express them all practically. You may even feel congested or tense in parts of your body where the energy needs some help to flow. And I love that idea of like the meditative dance and things like that to help get it out. And honestly, I had to think about that thought about grounding being a loving encouragement from the universe, because I have been sitting outside and I was barefoot sitting on the yoga ball on, barefoot meditating. But in meditation, I got so far up there. I was with the divine mothers and all of that good stuff, just up there. And it reached a point where the bliss, I guess, was too sustained, like had been sustained too long for the body. And my spirit guys honestly was like, okay, you need to come down now. You must ground yourself. Because I literally felt like I was about to pop out my body entirely. And they were like, no, 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 ground. It's time to shut this down. So, oh, that's a confirmation for you? Awesome. Awesome. And then last but not least, we have card 33 here with Master Healing. Love that 33. Anyway, that's my junk right there. As you meditate, remain true to what inspires your heart and commit to your spiritual path. You become an increasingly powerful healer. You are here to live your own life, to be true to what genuinely moves you. The unconditionally loving guide and ascended master Serapis Bey comes to you now with a blessing of master healing to further your success on your path. And wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh no, Serapis Bay came out earlier for Cece, I think it was, but anywho. Um, the Master Serapis Bey is a beloved guide for those who feel a strong connection to ancient Egypt, for healers who are developing their own modalities, and those who love to work with high frequency concepts. He also assists with the translation of spiritual inspiration into practical worldly plans. He comes to confirm that the ascended masters are aware of you. You are an integral part of a powerful spiritual team that has taken physical incarnation to help awaken consciousness into love. You were asked to tune into your heart. What do you love enough to overcome any obstacle to attain it? What motivates and inspires you? Not what seems possible or practical, but what is authentic. We are most powerful when we serve authentically from the heart. A bird might learn how to dive underwater from time to time, but it is never going to be at its most powerful if it has to live underwater. It would struggle to thrive if it were to force itself into such unnatural expressions of its life energy. The bird yearns to fly because that is the divine nature and purpose. That is its divine nature and purpose. You too have divine nature and purpose, and your heart holds the clue. What feels most like you? All righty, and that, dear one, is your message, Miss Robin. Ooh, and ooh. That was a good one, though. So, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. It's lining up. It's lining up for you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, my love. All right, now we next up. Let's see where we at. Where we at? Miss Valerie. Oh, you said that's your question too. Who are your spiritual guides and what do they want you to know about your spiritual path? So let me reset some of these and see what we got. Hold on. You still with us, Miss Valerie? Okay, awesome. Just checking and making sure. We'll get some of these cards off the table and then we're going to get locked and loaded over here on you. Mm, mm. All right, let's see here. Maybe. Let's see who pops out for you today. Oh, let me get some more incense rolling here. Okay. All right. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm glad it resonated with you too. That's a beautiful message from spirit. Been asking the universe how may you serve, and that's all we got to keep doing, and they'll let us know. They're lining us up for it. We being marched to it slowly but surely, but for a lot of us, some people, and I think part of what has us feeling a little bit of, are we doing the right thing? Wondering if we do, in the place of doubt, because through the 70s, 80s, 90s, and it continues on. There are some folks out there that have made a lot of money, a lot of fame, a lot of notoriety for themselves with their stories of instant awakening, and they become massive gurus with huge followings and all of that. And I'm not saying those people are not legit. I'm not knocking their hustles. I'm not criticizing none of them in any way. We do see stories of a lot of them that wind up going to the wayside and being found out to be fake, or they're doing things that kind of let you know that while they may have had a lot of intelligence at some point, they don't really be as tapped into spirit as you want. Like for one, I can talk about, like John of God. How do you tap into all of that healing and all of that information, that have that ability at your fingertips, and then turn around and physically take advantage of people and physically harm women and children? Somewhere there's spiritual sickness in there. So just because somebody taps into the unified field and unlocks a gift doesn't mean that they maintain that level of spirituality. So those of us that are being called to actually hold a level of spirituality, sometimes our awakenings are not instant. Like I said, my awakening and ascension path has been like a 15, 16-year journey. It wasn't instant, but that doesn't mean it's not just as valid. We just take longer to get there. And honestly, I'd rather be tapped into the spiritual side of it than just figuring out how to make money. You know what I mean? You know what to do, Yuri. Wait a minute, let me shuffle these and make sure that, I think that was Uriel, but I want to shuffle these well and make sure, because I was too busy talking. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, Amanda. Yeah. I'll take the long way around if it makes sure that I stay there. God forbid, and I mean that in all the sense of anything that we consider to be holy, all the way down from the creator of all, even down to the so called gods. I would never want to be in a position where I was chasing the bag so much that I wind up misleading humanity in pursuit of the bag. That's not what the gifts are there for. So, no. If it take longer for me to be sure of what I'm talking about and be humble enough and all the rest of that, so that I don't misuse those gifts, then yeah. Archangel Metatron is out here for you, Miss Valerie. That's with the chakra clearing. Call upon me wait a minute, call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes. I'm glad we're pulling a Metatron card in for sure. Clear your spaces here with Archangel Jophiel. Get rid of clutter, clear the energy around you, and use feng shui. Divine order, Archangel Raguel. Everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see the underlying order. Absolutely, Amanda. Yeah, I've been way through. Yeah, I don't want to do that no more. I want to get to the right place and all of that. Ooh, Metatron card again at the bottom. Prioritize. Focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. All right, now let's see if any of the ascended masters pop out over here. Hope is here with love and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Choose loving thoughts. And Freya is here with phases and cycles. There's a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. So you riding through this rebirth. As long as you don't catch you riding dirty, right? Archangel Michael just shot out, trusting heaven. You are safe. Angels stand close. Surrender your concerns and allow a miracle to occur. And there, excuse me. You in the middle of decluttering? Oh wow. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. Positive change is here with Parvati. So you doing it, and they say they see you doing it. That's what's up. Detached from drama, Palace Athena is here, and teacher is here with Mahakohan Ragosi. I'm not even familiar with who that is, but maybe you're being called to be a teacher. Yes, Ganesh is here. That's for prosperity. And power of joy with Maitreya. Maitreya is the Christed Buddha. All right, all right. Let's see here. Whoa, that's way too many at one time. They just chunked out of there. Kuan Yin is here with enlightened action. Choose compassion. Move forward with grace. Honestly, if you in that Christic type energy, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, Kuan Yin, those energies kind of sort of go together. Ooh, Shiva is here with karma release, end of a cycle, debts are paid, choose your destiny. Lady Nada came out for you too. Expanded heart, open liberation, openness, liberation, let yourself love and be loved. Mm. At the bottom of the deck, we got Metatron and Sandalphon, sacred connection, synchronicity, divine connection, understanding lessons. So Metatron came out before. I think that might be safe to say Michael and Metatron are most definitely on the lookout for you. And like I said, with Shiva showing up here, that don't surprise me either. Like I said, that Christic energy, that's that inky type energy coming in with it as well. So excuse me. Which two are here? Enlightenment is here. Ooh, and Night's Vigil. Enlightenment will continue and grow. Night's Vigil would prepare and get ready. So we'll take a look at those in just a moment. You've been called to teach. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We are like I said, we're the builders of New Earth. If we don't do it, who gonna do it? Gil Scott Heron told us the revolution will not be televised. He meant that. I didn't understand quite what it meant because he was, he was kind of on that little militant thing. It did have a little bit of a racial flavor to it, but the song still applies across the board. Like I said, it ain't got nothing to do with race or color. The revolution for real will not be televised. I mean, it will be because everybody got a smartphone these days, but that's the only reason. Mm. You had two colors come out of the Metatron deck: green for heart healing, and may also be a nod at Raphael, but this is the Metatron deck, and then silver with Warrior of Light. 6th ray of devotion is here, and dark night of the soul. Wisdom of the divine feminine at the bottom of the deck, and the 3rd ray of creative wisdom. Creative intelligence is at the top. We're only taking 2 for now, so we're gonna see what the messages are in these. Night's Vigil 47. I don't think this card has ever come out for anybody since I've been using this deck, not even me. I mean, I looked through the deck and read them when I first got it, but in a reading, this is the first time this card has come out for anybody as far as I know. Prepare and get ready. In the days of old, before being knighted, a squire, typically a nobleman, would spend time preparing himself in vigil. This would be an enforced period of no sleep. Vigil comes from the Latin word vigilia, meaning wakefulness. He would cleanse his body, focus on prayer and his connection to God, and reflect on the moral and ethical code he would swear allegiance to. Vigils through the ages have also taken place before key events, religious ceremonies, and battles. At Gethsemane, Jesus spent time in prayer, alert to what was to come, knowing his battle would be physical, emotional, and spiritual. The crucifixion ahead would test him to his limit, and he required time to gather his strength to be ready to face it, knowing it would also be his greatest triumph despite its challenge. When the disciples when the disciples with him fell asleep, he rebuked them, knowing how vital it was to prepare for the coming hours. Indeed, Jesus elsewhere readies them for their future respective missions, knowing he will not be physically around. This is a key component to the card's message: to create time and space to prepare and align for God for the next stage to come. This doesn't mean it's a time of foreboding, simply that you're asked to give your best, be present and aware of your conduct and the impact you can make. Living by a code that is resonant to your beliefs is highlighted right now. To stand for something, to align to a belief, to aspire to live your life by higher ideals that you set, and also to hold yourself accountable. Many of the qualities that the knights of old held dear: nobility, grace, loyalty, courage, honor, integrity, humility, humbleness, and faithfulness, are ones that our world sorely needs modeled again. You are invited to hold them dear to your heart, inspiring others who may have forgotten that they are even important. You can do so even if the same respect is not shown you. In a world where many are selfish, vain, and egocentric, living by a selfless, heart centered code is empowering and divinely supported. You are also encouraged to stand firm and be true to who you are, sovereign and free, not swayed by changing trends and fashions. You may be misunderstood and feel alone, yet draw to you a brand of like minded brothers and sisters, such as King Arthur did with his 12 knights of the Round Table and Christ did with his 12 apostles. Belonging to something, sharing a common belief, and remaining steadfast to a vision is important. Hello. New friendships and alliances may soon arrive, as well as a parting of the ways with those not willing to walk with you any further. Change is here, and focus, determination, and a willingness to serve are highlighted. You will be guided by God and your higher self, and it is often said that when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and this is such a time. Learning new skills and expanding your knowledge. Let go of any part of you that feels incapable, unworthy, or not up to the task. Everyone has flaws, yet the path of the knight is towards self development, knowing from failure that strength and wisdom come just as much as via victory and fortitude. Sink into quiet vigil, meditation, and prayer, and gather your thoughts, collecting back scattered parts of yourself and becoming whole and centered. Your life and how you conduct it matters, and you are deeply appreciated and loved. Be at peace with all that is to come, and you will conquer all that is ahead. Yep. Now, let's take a peek here at Enlightenment, card 35. Continue to grow. In my Father's house, there are many rooms, is a teaching from Jesus, and one we should remember when we consider the nature of enlightenment. In God's house, i.e., the kingdom of heaven, which also exists on earth, all are welcome, diversity is encouraged, and different faiths and beliefs are equally respected, reflecting that all the ascended masters work together and that man made divisions are redundant. Here, there should be no condemnation or suspicion of how others experience spirit and God, or desire to be right and the only one holding the truth. Instead, we are invited to sit energetically in our circle with our fellow brothers and sisters to witness each other's journeys with underneath the same roof, which is our world that we are here to experience. We can learn from each other and grow as we seek to deeply understand, listen, and engage. In essence, there's not just one way to experience God. Christ consciousness qualities are shared by many who seek to put love, forgiveness, and compassion center stage, and we need to remember that we all come from and go back to the same energy of creation, which is love. Realize too that at any one time we will all be working on different parts of the enlightenment path, requiring tolerance of each other, since what you may have mastered, others will just be learning, and vice versa. We also are seldom aware of others' soul contracts and lessons already completed in their lives. Wherever we are now, though, we will require introspection of ourselves, absolute honesty, and a willingness to adapt, change, and be open to what arises. So often there is a misconception that spirituality is just about love and light. And while those are the most powerful energies at our disposal, we become truly enlightened only by being brave enough to go into our own darkness and shadow. Here, there is no escape from our flaws, selfish acts, and unkindness. We must face unpleasant truths about ourselves, what we have done, thought, and been. God never judges these parts, however, and neither should we stay in shame, but instead bring love into our pain and ugliness to heal, enlighten, and transform the hidden corners of self and all we are. Acknowledge the sacred inner journey you're on, one that can be helped via self care practices, reflection, mindfulness, meditation, fresh fruit and vegetables, and perhaps yoga or another form of holistic exercise. By going within, we understand more of what manifests outward as a result, seeing the mirror image, a mirror effect of what we are, and can then attract into our lives. We become more conscious in time with our own surroundings and environment, and realize the influence we can assert positively to raise the vibration of earth as well as ourselves. Today, think about whether you are spiritually growing or in a safe zone, or are stuck, unable to expand into new ideas and ways to interact with the world. Is there something you wish to learn, an imbalance that needs correction? For example, in receiving or giving, or a new practice you'd like to try? Be willing to sit and absorb the frequency of Mother Earth as she ascends in consciousness too, receiving her light codes, moon phases, cyclical dates, and changing rhythms. Being at one with your body's energy system and listening to its needs helps you respect the temple that holds your soul in this lifetime and serves you well. Ashe. For sure, for sure. All right, now let's mosey on over to the Metatron deck. And we have green that came out first with the heart healing 39. Said, yeah, when student is ready, the teacher will appear. And then eventually, like I said, the student will become the master eventually. And then the teacher will kind of disappear. But yeah. The card with Metatron's green ray of light offers a healing sanctuary for your heart. The green ray revives, restores, recharges, and rebalances anything it touches, reflecting the ability of green to grant a space to rest and heal. Linked not just to Archangel Metatron, but also to the ray of Archangel Raphael. These two mighty archangels combine their power and light to shine a soothing green light on pain, distress, and heartache. Any wound, whether emotional, spiritual, or physical, can be helped by the balm that the green ray offers. Enter into the holy cathedral of this green ray and experience a space in which your heart can be free. The diamond, as depicted here, represents your heart, that place where where the answers lie, where the wisdom is contained and the truth that can set you free exists. For green offers freedom, which is why the heart always seeks out the help that it gives. Held in the soft embrace of this space, you can tune into your heart's desire and the depths of your soul and access all that you are and all that you came here to be. Visualize the radiant green diamond glowing within you, feeding your physical body what it needs right now to be stronger and more complete. Then take it deeper into your emotional and spiritual bodies. Allow its healing light to penetrate deep to where it is needed most. The precision with which it can do this is astonishing. Look at the sharp points of the diamond. They are like lasers, able to direct the green energy to wherever it is needed. The heart is also our transmitter, so ask yourself why, or ask yourself what you transmit out into the world. Is it words of love or words of anger? What are you beaming out into the universe? Be aware that whatever you transmit in words, actions, and thoughts now comes back to you tenfold, so choose wisely. The heart needs the constant cleansing that the green ray offers. Truly, green is a color that is important every day of our life. What does the green ray say to you today? How does it make you feel? Are you at ease with its blessings and gifts, or do you push this color away? Embrace the healing of the green ray and let it restore you. You're also encouraged to be in nature, in the green forest, in parks, and in your own garden. Feel the green grass under your feet and the gifts that the natural world offers for recovery, growth, and renewal, all provided by the green ray linked to the earth. Oh, thank you, CC. I appreciate that too, because again, so many readers focus on reading intuitively only. But my thing, especially some of these decks are so connected, and you know that these people spent months, and in some cases like the Dow deck and the Osho Zen tarot and stuff, she literally spent almost 10 years. It was first in her own spiritual study, but like compiling and writing that deck and doing everything, it was a labor of love. It took years, and I mean, they put a lot of work in them, so I genuinely enjoy getting that meaning too. It's fine to look at these cards intuitively or just get the keywords off of them, but I like getting into the deeper meanings, because very often, if that card came out of that deck, it's something in that message that's there for you on a deeper level as well. You say, I may not believe this, but I bet you've been meditating with the green ray. I do believe it. That's why I took the time to actually read it, because that's what I'm saying. That card came out for a reason. Metatron came out twice as your guide. And then I was thinking about Raphael didn't show up, but why not? And here he is right here in this card. There, to me, I look at everything in a reading is kind of important. Now, I don't always read all the book meanings of every single card, but for these type cards, I don't even read the entire meaning when I handle this deck all the time. But tonight, it just felt relevant and right. So that is phenomenal. You've been meditating with the green ray, and like I said, this is your pull. We pulling for you. And this card popped right on out. So now we're gonna see what silver got over here that might be relevant for you too. Warrior of Light. You are being asked to be one of Archangel Metatron's warriors of light. To do so will require strength, dedication, compassion, and to always deal in the truth. These are the noble qualities that one who serves the light must master in life on the spiritual path before them. Oh, yeah, okay. Our world has seen thousands of years of bloodshed where warriors battled against each other, fighting over land, religious faith, and what they deemed right. Now, as spiritual warriors, we fight as one. No denominations apply other than the signature of the human race working for the light. Those who are given their silver sword of truth know that we are all one. It will never be used to harm another, but to wield off and warn the dark that light is here. It is given to you now to protect and clear the path. It is bestowed on those who have fought battles with their own darkness and have found the light within themselves once more. You have a steady hand and a wise soul, and the light burns bright within you. The sword cuts through all illusion, falsehood, deceit, and denial, and all that is negative, heavy, or tainted by wrongdoing. It highlights those who seek to harm or defame you, and only has power when held by the one it is made for. You have its power now in your own hand. Use it wisely. The silver blade must never be used to harm, but instead must act to defend all that is good, honest, and pure. Hence, it also stands for justice and a balancing of karma for anyone or any situation that seeks its energy. The silver full moon often signals a time of completion and a cycle ending and a new one beginning. And interesting, like, see, we're talking about the full moon. We're truthfully in full moon energy already because it's after midnight. But we talk about doing the full moon ceremony and all the rest of that stuff. Yeah. Um, At such times, invoke the silver ray to purify the past and clear the way for a bright new future illuminated by silver's truth and clear direction. You are protected by Archangel Metatron's silver ray at all times. No harm can befall anyone who asks for his light to be within and around them. One who holds the silver sword is never alone, need never fear the dark, and is always safe. Feel that energy now and allow it to make a difference each day forward as you walk the path of the light warrior you truly are. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You said even just last night, your mouth is wide open. You were once on the verge of an anxiety attack because you thought that reading the meaning of the cards made you look like your readings were not genuine. However, people resonated. Yeah, that part. And again, I was too busy listening to other readers out there, but there some of them readers is reading them karmic energies and stuff. They're seeing a lot of karmic junk in the cards that I mean, not saying junk, it's not junk for those that are going through that, but that's not the people that I'm being called to read for. So I don't need to try to make up a bunch of karmic stories. That's not where my life is. That's not where my collective's life is. So these messages here are relevant for people who the messages are for. Like I said, on another channel, they may not like that. My readers like it and it resonates. Okay, good. I'm glad you didn't forget because I'm tonight, once we get done here, I'm going to go to bed. but because it's kind of late, I'm gonna sleep in a little bit tomorrow, but I'm not gonna get on the live stream in the morning for either one. I'm gonna go through my email, compose an email, reach out to those who are in my email list to see if they want to be included, get those things together and all the rest of that. I honestly think I want to do the readings. If I can stay up that late, I may take a nap at some point after that, because I probably will, after we do the ceremony, while I'm still in that energy, after having done that group meditation, then I may come in here and do a pre-recorded reading for the collective, as well as a love reading for the collective. So I'm going to be up late tomorrow in that energy, but I'll be like reading the tarot after the fact. So when I get up in the morning, it might be like 10, 11, 12-ish before I get the emails out about our intentions and all of that. And then I'll just take a nap and then get up around 5 or 6 and then prepare the bath, prepare the things that I got to do so I can be in the bath by 7 and then online by 8. I'm glad you resonate. Yeah, that's why I say, and I get it. It's not that popular, but again, right now, look, I didn't even put it on for subscribers only, and look at how low the traffic has been on this channel tonight. So I know that right now, for now, we're cool doing whatever we need to. We ain't got to worry about none of that. We're just doing us, and I really kind of like it like that. And you sent me the email as well. All right, thank you, Amanda. That's good. That's good. All right. Is there anyone else before we shut it down for the night that had needs something? Anybody? Anybody? We all good here? Going once. As they say, going twice. I think I thought I covered everybody, so I just want to make sure. Tell us about the bath. You only trust out the shower where you live now. Um, I'm just gonna be basically doing a typical salt bath, what have you. Take my shower and then run a hot bath with the Epsom salt, the baking soda, and the salt, Epsom salt, baking soda, and I also have like brown sugar and cinnamon, so I'm probably use that as well, just to because it feels really good, and I'll be like saging the space and burning the candles and playing the meditation music and all, and just kind of go into that zone as I'm getting myself ready for like just like say genuinely observing the full moon. There's several meditations out there, so I'll probably either do something off of Dynasty Electric, or maybe when I go, I'm gonna spend some time either in the night tonight or in the morning, and I tell you what I'll do. Whatever I music, meditations, all of it. When I decide on which ones I'm gonna use, I'll email those to you as well, just a link to them. You said, did we find out who your guys were, CC? I named off several up in there when we pulled cards for you. Did we pull cards for you? You know what? I'll do a quick pull again. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on. I could have sworn we pulled cards for you, but I may be confusing myself at this point. But let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna ask again. Hold on. All right. Let's see what comes out of these decks, and then we'll go from there. What resonates and see what we come up with. You don't think you did? Okay. Okay, I thought so. I thought I was pulling for CC when we came up with Raphael and Amethyst and all that. I just can't. I couldn't go back and I mean, I can't. We would literally have to wait for it to upload and then watch it to see. But I thought that was your energy that I was in when we saw um Michael was there, Raphael and Amethyst were there. Or Raphael, I mean, Zachiel and Amethyst came out because those are twin flames. But Michael and Raphael, and I think Uriel was there. And as far as the Ascended Masters, I wanted to say, was that where Serapis Bay came out? I can't remember. You'll send an email with what you're releasing and what you like, yeah, with what you'd like to manifest. And then when y'all send those in, I'm gonna forward your release and your manifest request also to Brittany because she's gonna be doing a bay leaf ritual. I'm doing the burn ritual and the ancestor money, and Brittany is gonna be doing the manifesting ritual with the bay leaves. Okay, well, guess what, CC? I don't know who came out before, but you got some heavy hitters coming out this go around. And again, your spiritual team may be massive. I'm looking at Mary Magdalene here, Sacred Vessel. You're the answer. Be guided to your purpose. Ma'at is here. Divine intervention. Weigh up your options and choose the highest good. And Buddha, heightened awareness. Make peace with your thoughts and your world. And again, this is like that Christic energy, and this is kind of Isis energy. And Isis did come out before, but yeah. Ooh, and in the split, wow. When I split this deck, Mary Magdalene is here and Archangel Michael. So you know what? I'm taking them for sure. Because I know if Mary Magdalene has showed up twice, there's a reason for that. It's okay. That's why I say I don't mind looking, because that's what I was here for. Here's Saint Germain. I knew he was gonna pop out sooner or later. Sooner or later. Saint Germain is here in El Moria. And then let me see if I can see any of the archangels that might want to have a word. Christiel, Archangel Christiel, talks about receiving the white ascension flame and connecting with unicorns. Never had that one come out before either. And Haniel, I think Haniel came out for you before, if I'm not mistaken, a couple times, but at least once. Seek soul satisfaction, fan a flame of inner happiness. Raphael is at the bottom of the deck. See with enlightened eyes, open to abundance. And like I said, I think he came out before. And then Sandalphon came out for somebody. And it's here again. But yeah, at a minimum, you're looking at Christiel, Haniel, Raphael, along with Michael, Mary Magdalene, Saint Germain, Buddha, and El Moria. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's a big enough team. That's a good starting point anyway. And like I said, Ascended Masters do rotate in and out. Sometimes, depending on what you got on, they will hand you off to other people. But I would, at a minimum, kind of research those a little bit or meditate and ask them. And ask them when you meditate, ask them to come in and see what shows up in your YouTube feed, what documentaries you led to. Like you say, when I shuffle and pull spreads and things for you, who pops out in there, and you'll start getting a kind of an idea of who's tapping in, especially once you've asked them to make themselves known to you, they will. But for sure, I would look for Michael, Raphael, and Mary Magdalene at a minimum, because yeah, Mary came out here twice, and when I pulled before, I think Haniel too came out a couple times for you as well. So be aware of her. All right. Is there anyone else that needs anything else before we shut it down for today? You're very welcome, Valerie. Are we complete then? Thank you so much, ladies. It is almost 1 o'clock, so I'm gonna jet up off of here. I love y'all ever so much. I'm gonna shut it down, and like I said, I'll be in touch with all of you by everybody that sent me emails. I'll be in touch with you in the morning at sometime before noon. I don't know when I'm gonna wake up since it's 1 now, but I am gonna wake up and get that part together, and we'll meet convene here tomorrow. Oh, you are so very welcome. It's been my pleasure. Until next time, peace and blessings to you, babies. Love you. Namaste. Good night. You too, Robin. You rest and replenish as well.